Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome to Up Late with G and friends. So, this is a G with a T and a J D. Cheers, everyone. Ah, so, hopefully, you enjoyed the content that Funkin' Hungry put out this week. Love the new channel name. Goodbye, Hyper Sapien. Hello, G. And hello, Paul. And Dexter, we already spoke to him. He had to head off on Roger's stream. We got Mark, we have Cody, we have Roger himself, and yeah, countdown clock. Hey, Roger, mate. That was a good stream. Yeah, it was a very good stream. It's good to see, a lot more people showing Roger a bit of love, And before I was listening, as Mark said that I was, and yeah, it'd be good to see Mark doing some streams in the future. G is back again. Just going to share this this stream around, even though not really not really sure if people watch it from the old Facebook page. Taz Gaming didn't unsubscribe from my Funkin' Hungry page. It's interesting. We have um we have the old Starman himself. Looks like he's entered orbit. He's not
Oh
in the
no!
spaceship tonight.
What's going on?
That was a quick trip.
Yeah. Well, you know how light speed technology
Modern
goes.
that bloody modern technology is working out.
Oh, it's famous. So, how are you tonight, G?
Yeah. Besides a certain somebody trying to stir the pot in Roger's stream, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you just gotta laugh at that sort of stuff.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
he's in this chat tonight as well as Taz Gaming,
Cool, cool.
but also we have the Prawn Meister. So I do have a tea, but
This
because tea seems to go down quick, I do have a cup of ice. I do have a little bit of
Tastas Gaming, Paul,
shout out to
Cody, the Aussie
shout out to
Alistair family.
shout out to Paddy Joe Cooking.
Oh, happy.
Wow,
Got his
I'm
old
going for the
maiden
hard
house.
stuff, G.
Just preparing for what's to come.
Back on Earth.
Or did you mean this was the hard stuff? The Yorkshire tea, good stuff right here. I thought pot's normally green, but maybe in Tasmania, maybe the pot's black. I don't know.
I got a white pot.
You all right there, Roger?
Yeah, my eye decided to spring a leak. Looks like I'm crying, which I'm not.
Roger,
What's got a leak?
My eye just started to trickle out some tears and that, which I did. I wasn't crying. It just trickled out somewhat. It looked like I was crying, which I wasn't.
That's color neutral. Oh my god.
Hey, what's going on, Chriso? What's kind of interesting though is when whatever happened with the old Taz. He didn't want to talk about it, but for some reason when he took me off mod, I sent him a message asking what the problem is. He didn't reply, so I just ended up blocking all of his stuff. And yeah, all of a sudden, for some reason, he must have had a few 5% beers and got a bit talkative. And friends indeed. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Have you got ginger nut biscuits?
No, this is I did have a ginger nut, but this is one of those nut whatever it is.
like
nuts.
an Anzac almost. But
Yeah, it's a nut. It's an Arnott's product.
yeah, well, Anzac, I guess technically is oats, isn't it? Oats with like golden syrup on it, which is bloody lovely. But yeah. So you still got a few beverages there, Roger?
I still got a few left of mostly Bundy rums and stuff, like the cans.
Yeah, no worries.
Had a cracking earlier.
Oh, Mayhem's found his testicles also. Considering your absolute dismal behaviour on Discord, I'd be ashamed to be on live, but it's all someone else's fault, of course. Do you care to explain more, or do you just want to have your little hissy fit on my live stream? What is quite funny and dismal behaviour, though, is Mayhem is talking shit in inbox to me about Pete, and then all of a sudden you started blowing smoke up his ass. That was quite amusing. But yeah, anyway, I haven't got time to this. I don't want these guys on stream to have to be a part of it. If these guys want to talk to me, they know how to get a hold of me. Anyway, sorry about that, everyone. They had plenty of opportunity to speak to me outside of live stream, and I've been on plenty of live streams before they, like since they whatever issues has happened. So they've had plenty of time to sort it out. But tonight supposedly is the night. But anyway, we're not going to let anyone else get to us. And don't worry, guys, I've been sending just to open.
Sorry, what was that? It dropped out a bit. Maybe it was my end.
I said, "Oh, don't worry, I haven't been sending naked pictures to anyone." Ain't nobody got time for that, exactly. Exactly.
The Aussie Alistair Pambroni.
Just for anyone that is watching though, who doesn't know, these guys already know what's going on. But Rolfus decided to block me, and for some reason he was talking to me on. He's been trying to talk to me, even though he's blocked me. Tazdaz and Mayhem all apparently now have an issue with me, which is fine. You know, they can do what they want. They're grown men, or they have been acting a little bit like grandmas. But anyway, we won't get into that. No disrespect to any grandmothers out there that are watching. I know they're like Funkin' Hungry's #1 fans, the grandmas.
I didn't know Mayhem had a problem because I didn't know. I know you said Taz doesn't Rolfus did. I didn't know Mayhem had an issue.
Like as Cody said, no one's got time for that. But I could quite easily explain my side of the situation. Obviously, there's two sides to a story, so I wouldn't want anyone to take sides or feel like, you know. But I'm just me. That I'm always me. You know, people sometimes get annoyed with me, and that's life, and that's humans. You know, we get annoyed at each other sometimes. But I always thought those guys were like cool enough that if there was issues to come to me instead of just blocking me. And you know, I did reach out to all of them and ask them, you know, to discuss it like men, and they all chose not to. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
What are you doing, you twat? The dog, I think, woke up from a dream and just started barking. He's like,
I thought you talking to me and Mark then. I thought you were talking to either me or Mark then, thinking, what did we do wrong?
No, I was saying you guys know about all this already because, you know, like, yeah. AJ, just people don't like me again. Tazdaz, Rolfus, and Mayhem. But yeah, never change who you are, G. You're a great human being. I appreciate that, Paul, and I don't expect anyone to, you know. But yeah.
For some reason, people never blocked me yet, or had an issue with me yet.
Yeah, because you're
Go
too
figure.
bloody nice, Roger. You just
Nah,
when I
well,
said we get shitty at each other, I'm pretty sure Roger is like, all of us are on one side with Roger by himself on the other side. So I don't know if I could ever get mad at Roger.
hey, JJ and
This
King
is
Paul, King Cody, the Alistair fan Bruni.
this is one thing I find
Yeah.
interesting. Why things turn so quickly. I mean, we all can agree to disagree, but why does it suddenly
Well,
turn so quick? I only know some of what was going on, and then it was a bit of a shock because you mentioned it a couple of weeks back or something like that, and then suddenly, look. But anyway,
Yeah,
let's not
a few people are chew your head off. Yeah, I don't know why.
look. There's people I don't get along with and things like that. I just I
yeah.
I was just going to say,
Well, as I said, I gave him an opportunity to sort it out outside of bloody, but apparently everything need. But apparently, it's like we're real YouTubers or some shit. Like everything needs to be, all our dirty laundry needs to always be on YouTube lives. We can't do it away from YouTube live. It needs to be on live, and
yeah,
shit hits the fan, and everyone just has to smell it and just put up with it.
Exactly, Paul. I agree with Paul where he said that life doesn't make sense sometimes. And that is correct.
the one.
Yeah, well, I had Taz his personal mobile number, all that stuff. We used to message most days or every other day, and we was always quite tight. And yeah, apparently you can't sort out any issues. So yeah. And all I'll say though is I've always been me. I'm always going to be me. Like I haven't changed. So obviously they've decided to have a different opinion about me because I sure as hell haven't changed my attitude or who I am or what I do. I think really my best bet is like they started to not enjoy the company I was keeping. The people that I'd have on live. Which I care about everyone that I do have on live. There might be a couple of people, and no, I don't mean you guys, Roger, but yeah, there might be a couple of people I don't know that well that come on lives, but
Yeah, I really give up.
People that have just joined in a couple of times. None of the regulars. We have no one that's in the group chat and who's a regular. We all have like a little bit of a group happening of some people like Paul don't come on lives, but he's a part of it as well.
Yeah,
And
Paul's a
Cody
good guy.
AJ and stuff.
Yeah, Paul's a good guy. AJJ is a good person. Cody, the Alistair Brony, is a very good person as well, a good man as well.
Well, at the end of the day, you come on here because you either have similar interests or you enjoy being here, regardless of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can just talk shit.
It's quite easy to go and watch something else because there's no end of stuff to watch, honestly.
Well, that's it. And just sorry to cut you off, but it's very interesting. Like you made a very good point there. They could be doing anything, and for someone they apparently don't like or dismal behaviour or whatever he was saying, it's funny that they were still watching and obviously triggered enough to make comments tonight. But yeah, if they wanted to finally find their testicles and say stuff, that's up to them. But yeah, life doesn't make sense sometimes, but I have lost people in life, that unfortunately either have passed on or people that have just moved on from life. That's a part of life, people come and go. Some you call girlfriends, some you call, partners, some you call friends, family, for many different reasons. People go their separate ways, which is a lot of times unfortunate. A lot of times it's a little bit sad, especially if you have, feelings for them or you just feel like you have a connection, friendship, relationship, whatever. But, I guess I'm getting to the age and it's just, learn the lesson, just obviously, as the guys on the stream tonight do know that I was a little bit disappointed and a little bit upset about it a week or more ago when it happened. But it is what it is. What can you do? But we're sure as hell not gonna, let it ruin our life or let it get to us. Really.
Yeah.
As I've said it probably about 4 times now. I reached out and gave people an opportunity to sort it out. They didn't want to sort it out. They ignored the messages. So moving on,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if they want to come
Hi,
on these
Becky.
live streams and cause issues or even just whatever, then that's up to them. But who will find that I don't have time for that. I've built a pretty good channel or community, and like I care about all the people that comment, and that's why I take time to reply, and that's why I do these live streams to speak to these awesome people that are on panel here tonight, but also all the lovely people in the chat. I wasn't gonna stream tonight, and that's part reason Roger did. He said he would take over, but I thought, why not? I always like talking to Mark. I
Yeah.
always like talking to Roger on the weekends and everyone who's in the chat. So I thought instead of just watching a film or whatever I'd be doing, may as well do this because it's more enjoyable and having a chat with these guys than really
Yeah,
just
because
I can watch TV or I can do other stuff anytime. These live chats are something that I really enjoy. So there you go. And hello, Becky.
yeah, the only reason I decided to go live, I thought you weren't going to go live tonight, so I thought I might as well take over to fill in for you and that. Because I know you usually stream Monday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And I thought might as well since you said something about weren't feeling 100%, so I thought I might as well fill in for you and that for tonight.
Yeah, then
So,
after
no,
I had a bit of a chat with you, when I had a bit of a chat with you, Roger, about it, I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not dying. Well, we're all dying, I guess, slowly. We're slowly decaying. We're all slowly getting there, but and there's not that much. It's, I just, it's better to try and stick to this little routine and have a chat to everyone instead of waiting a few days and doing it on Monday.
Just
like Monday has a different vibe than Saturday. I mean, most of the time Roger joins me, which is really good, and just these Saturdays have their own sort of vibe and stuff to them compared to the Monday streams. And everyone probably feels a little bit different from the beginning of the week to the end of the week or the weekend. People are a little bit probably more refreshed tonight, having drinks and all that sort of stuff. And then on Monday, it's a bit of a different vibe for sure.
Yeah, I usually do martial arts training 3 days a week, like Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. That's my martial arts training days and that. And I work 5 days a week. Like I'm not a full-time instructor, so I have to work during the day and that. Does have money and stuff.
You work and then you do your martial arts and stuff. So that's understandable.
Yeah, because the dojo I'm with is not a full-time dojo, so I have to have a job to get the money in.
How many students do you have, Roger?
Kids have kids 6 to 12. There's about 12 of them, and it's about 8 people. 10 or 11 other people over the age of 12, like 13 plus. There's about 12 of them as well. So it's about 10 all up.
Do you only do the one discipline?
I do 3.
3, right.
Yeah. I do karate.
Yeah.
I got a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I do Muay Thai as well.
What's for people who don't know, a bit like myself, what's the difference between the different is it styles? Is it what's the correct terminology?
it's different martial arts styles and that. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is mostly grappling, which is, you do work on techniques and different holds and throws and stuff like that, like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Muay Thai is Thailand kickboxing, which is both. It's a lot of like when you do your punching, you do elbows, knees, and kicks and stuff. And karate is a little bit similar to that as well, which is from Okinawan karate, which is from Japan, karate and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, more combative. We do combative karate and stuff. What my club does.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what I'm saying. It's just to the people in the chat. Carry on, boys.
And dams and belts and that means black first dam and dam belts, which is usually referred to black belts and that. Like first degree and that. And once you get the fourth degree and try to go up to fifth degree up to and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and karate, you have to go in international board grading then, like a international board and that. And you get assessed by a random person or people who's already that rank, and they assess you on your carters and everything else as you get to fifth degree and upwards.
Yeah. How far do you want to go with it, Roger?
Depends how long I can maintain my fitness and carters and stuff like that. As long as I've got passion for it, I've been doing it since I've been doing karate since I was 8, and the other two since I was 13. So it's been over 3 decades plus. I've been doing it.
So is there one that you prefer over the other one, Roger, or do you just like them all? Or
well, they're all different styles and all good, and I just got passion for all of them and that because I do.
Yeah, because you do Muay Thai, right?
Muay Thai, yeah. About it.
Like, I mean, I've always been into like just different martial arts, but I haven't really been keeping up to date with stuff and all that stuff for a while, but yeah, it's a very cool style because it's like kickboxing pretty much, isn't it?
Muay Thai is, it's kickboxing. It's mostly Thailand kickboxing.
Yeah.
That's what Muay Thai is, and that. Plus, I've been to Thailand itself and training the synagogue, not synagogue. Yeah, the big Muay Thai place over there and stuff.
Do you go to different dojos in your area, or is it all done in the one place?
I train dojo called Kamaru. There's different dojos around different places. There's one in Harden, one in ACT, Port Macquarie. There's one open up in Newcastle. There's one near Wollongong. There's a few up in Queensland. There's one in Toowoomba and Harvey Bay. And there's quite a few dojos around, like similar, Matt.
Yeah, but
I do the same stuff like that.
You yourself, do you go to a different place for each one, or are they all done in the same place?
There's all done in the same place. The ones I do in Kitamundra and that. There's one that there's one in the dojo, and they do different lessons on different days and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
And no, I've never played Elden Ring.
You'd think someone like myself would be playing one of those space games, like EVE Online or something like that. I mean, it looks good in the videos that they play, but I've never gone into it. Never thought about it. But
did you ever play Space Invaders?
Oh yeah,
the old arcade game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
You feel like it. You feel like you're a real spaceman when you when you little ship and you're taking on all the.
I could probably. Oh, I should look in the App Store and see if it's available for the Mac.
Space
Should be.
Invaders.
Yeah.
They've got some more modern ones that really, I don't know off the top of my head what they're called, but they're obviously very similar, just a more modern one. I know they've got mobile apps and stuff that because sometimes when I'm playing app games, they have obviously a lot of games that are advertised like the ads, and so I've seen like
Yeah. Well,
a
there's.
lot of
I'm
similar stuff.
just looking in the App Store now, and there's Retro Invaders. That's $1.99. Space Invaders 2019, and looks like that's free. And then there's Color Invasion, which is $2.99, and there's all variations on it, But yeah, it's definitely
You know,
look
hey,
at the end of
me looking. This
at
one's
the
got 5 stars, full stars. Space Invaders Super Space.
at the end of the day, regardless of the platform you've got, there's plenty of games out there if you want to. It's one of those things for most people. Like you go and play 2 games or something like that. I got on here. I got Tic Tac Toe, noughts and crosses,
Yeah, okay.
and I
Yeah.
play that every so often. And there's various card games, but yeah.
Yeah, some of the first games when like PC first came around were like those Sudoku kind of games, like card games and just a few little, they used to always give you just a few little games back when you used to get the really old PCs.
Mm. Yeah, the old Mahjong was probably a good one. I think you had your standard. Well, my first computer was, the old Windows 3.11 for networks or something like that, and you had your various card games on them. I used to spend a bit too much time on that playing Free Cell or Solitaire. Free Cell was the game. Yeah, but there's so many games out there now and there's even games. If you really want to get serious, yes, there's games. You could probably write a game and make one yourself quite easily. You just get Chat GTP to do the thing for you and go for it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'll Chat GTP. I think is going to replace us soon. We'll just put our heads up here and like Futurama and get Chat GTP to do the talking.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can try and share this video. See if you guys can.
Yeah, no, you touched doing mine and couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I'll try it again. I'll try it again on G Stream and just see if we can hear anything. I'll just play a bit and I'll stop and see if you guys can hear it. Volume's
Who's
up.
that person in the corner? She looks familiar.
Oh, gee, haven't seen her before.
Well, he won't leave us alone then.
Anything?
Yeah, can't hear it.
Oh God.
I see there's some bald bloke with a moustache and up to the top, like the.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty interesting guy, actually. Why isn't the audio coming? I wonder why.
Find Asian numbers.
Maybe, gee, if I send you the link to this video, I'll tell you where to start. Maybe you could share it and get the audio coming through on your end.
I'll see if I can do that.
I'll throw it in the private chat. So if you go to, say, the 33.20 mark, or roughly around 33.25. It might be, yeah, go 33.25.
Have you sent it through yet? Or
Yeah, it's in the private chat.
It's in the,
private
just click
chat.
over. Yeah, private chat. Yeah, that's
yeah,
Sorry, is it, where were you
that's
thinking?
my bad.
because I can see in the private chat myself. If I can see it, you can see it in the private chat. Oh, where's Mac on?
I will try. I'll share this. I'm sure I'll be back. Share screen.
These big auto companies have not been keeping up.
I can hear it
and
now.
You hear that?
We've seen, and as we just talked about, like with Robocar, whether or not you believe it, they're plowing ahead. They don't care. And I mean, also the Chinese government's giving all these subsidies. It's a complicated topic.
It is.
For sure. But let's talk about Tesla.
Yeah, huge
Tesla's
win
in the
for
best
Tesla.
position.
Yeah, it's a win-win. It's like one of those 3D chess matches in Star Trek where Elon was like, checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. Like, unbelievable that he's in China, but he's not a Chinese company, so he wins either way. And you know what's funny? Do you know what Chinese company was the second largest in exports to Europe?
BYD,
MG.
like Morris Garage, like MG. That they're a Chinese company.
They got bought by a Chinese company, and I don't think that most people in the UK know that yet. So I think they're happy to buy MG electric cars, even though it's a Chinese company.
Huh.
I was really shocked because we don't think about that company much. All right, so those of us who have been following Elon's purchase of X, previously known as Twitter, for $44 billion a year ago on October 27th,
This is a little bit behind the part Mark said, but
2022, know that his goal was more than just a short message app.
He's often stated that he wants to become a, quote, everything app, offering a wide variety of services from video streaming like YouTube, job recruiting to compete with LinkedIn, a dating service, game live streaming like Twitch, to live video chat like FaceTime that he has released in beta mode last week for iPhone users.
So we've gotten reports that X has been doing the necessary filings across the country in each state to enable them to acquire money transmission licenses so that X can now offer financial services. And now, according to The Verge, Elon stated, quote, "When I say payments, I actually mean someone's entire financial life. If it involves money, it'll be on our platform. Money or securities or whatever. So it's not just like sending $20 to my friend. I'm talking about like you won't need a bank account."
So X banking
and X brokerage services.
So like stocks and stuff.
Yeah. And micropayments also allows for a whole range of new services. And that leads to the next part of this story. Elon is also working on having X create a news service called XWire to compete with other PR news and press release services like Cizion's PR Newswire.
We know that Elon wants to promote citizen journalism. X is allowing creators to monetize their posts, and many citizen journalists are taking Elon up on this.
X is becoming the place to get breaking news, and you can see why legacy media is scared. So we're going to discuss this some more on our Investor Club bonus stories this week. Hope to see you there. And if you'd like to share a clip you've seen on this channel with your friends, but you don't want to share the entire 1 hour long episode, head on over to our YouTube channel called Now You Know Clips. That's where we chop them into bite-sized clips.
So
and also follow us on X.
I want you would like to watch. I think you'll get a laugh out of it.
okay.
At NYK channel. All right, it's time once again to visit with our friend Will for an update on what's going on across the pond.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Tesla UK has just held an exclusive event for UK Tesla owner club members where they debuted the new refreshed Model 3. Now, I'm a long-term member of the UK Owners Club, but also a plonker for missing the opportunity of getting tickets in time. That will teach me for not reading the Tesla Owner UK newsletter each month. Oh well, it's only the new refresh Model 3, and I live literally just down the road. And it's not like I'm a Tesla addict or anything, is it? I'm fine. Thankfully, though, I'm in communication with an incredible secret spy who went to the event and shared his footage with me. Massive thanks to Greg Coughlin on X for this footage. Guests were treated to a ride in a new Model 3 and could poke around to their heart's content in the new interior, have a play with those colour-changing lights, and be baffled by the removal of those indicator stalks. Although apparently the little vibration you get from pressing the indicator buttons is quite nice. I've heard from a few attendees that there was real noticeable difference in soundproofing within the car and a far more premium feel inside. There was also Model S and X plaid test drives, a presentation from Tesla UK, and there was even a Tesla bot safely housed in robot-proof glass, I see, in case he goes berserk. There was a suspended body in white where you could admire the fine work of the Gigapress, which makes that massive casting for the rear end of a Model Y. Plus, there was a great DJ and nibbles. Flipping love free food. I'm gutted I missed it, but there you go. A quick reminder, and as you reported last week, that these new Model 3s have had a £3,000 price drop in the UK, yet offer way more range and features. It now starts at just $39,990 and offers so much value for what you get. Over on the UK website, we can see that deliveries are expected to commence as of January 2024. Let's hope the first deliveries go smoothly, unlike this poor chap, who on collection of his new Model 3 in China, drove it straight through the wall. I thought I was the plonker. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Back to you guys in the studio. Now you know.
Thanks, Will. Everyone show
Yeah.
us.
Oh man, what a plonker. Imagine that. new car and driving it into a wall.
Well, as soon as I heard that, as soon as I heard, geez, I'm getting bloody hot. As soon as I heard that guy say plonker, I thought, oh, I got to share it with you guys. No, I watch these guys every week. They're a father and son team, and they talk about electric vehicles, Teslas, and so on. They're really informative, and yeah, it's just quality viewing, and they've got a good thing going. They do. They also do. They have a channel called Now Let's Review, so where they review electric bikes and things like that. It's just really good. I really enjoy this stuff. And
gave him a bit of a stub.
yeah, and when they do, they buy, like other people, they do reviews. Like you do reviews of food, they do reviews of cars.
Yeah.
So they living in America, they both own Teslas. They've had them for a long time. They've recently purchased the Ford F-150 Lightning, which is a electric pickup truck, and the Rivian R1T, which is also an electric pickup truck. And they do reviews on those, and they're honest reviews. They're not made up. They're not paid or anything like that. So, and they also do from time to time. They also have the Investor Club, where they talk to CEOs of up and coming renewable technologies and things like that. So, look, it's one of those things that I follow, and it's pretty impressive. If regardless of what you think of Elon Musk, the way he's changed the automotive industry, it's pretty incredible. And I've said for a long time that not his cars, but everyone equates Tesla with him. But his cars are 10 years ahead of any other manufacturer in terms of, over-the-air updates, their supercharging network, and so on and so forth. They really are quality vehicles. Like everything, they've had their share of problems, and like every other manufacturer, they'll have their share of problems to come in the future. It's just the way it goes.
It's good for an African.
As well. Go for it, Roger.
It's not bad for an African American guy. Because he's born in South Africa. He's also got Canadian citizenship because his mother's from Canada. Mm-hmm. And he lives in the US and got citizenship there. So he's a African American Canadian.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is.
And if you have a look at what Tesla's doing in terms of how many factories they've got going now, and what other factories they're
Yeah.
setting up. You know, they're talking to Mexico. That's and they're just going from strength to strength. And I'm on the road every day, and the amount of Tesla vehicles I see is bloody crazy. You know, it's
Same with me when I go out installing security and fixing computers and installing antivirus and stuff to people's computers to fall sick up. The amount of Teslas I see is growing upwards as well. When I go to people's houses sometimes as well to pick up the drop of the computers and whatnot.
Yeah, well,
I reckon Elon Musk must be listening to this live stream because I just got a notification from X.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I get these notifications, but yeah, I don't use it much. But that being said, what they were saying about how the company's gonna like what they want to do, kind of interested. I might actually start using it more.
Sorry, G, I missed that one.
I was saying that it sounds very interesting what they're doing with X, and I might actually start using it more. Like if it becomes, you know, a better platform.
Well, it's definitely becoming he's changed it so much since he's brought it, and
Yeah,
they've done when they're doing some testing with the Cybertrucks a few weeks ago, they were live streaming via Starlink from the test they were doing down in Mexico. It wasn't top quality, but you know, you could see what was going on. And he's I think he's going to be doing video streaming. He is doing video streaming. One thing that X has that a lot of people probably not aware of, they have these things called spaces. So it's basically like we're doing now, but there's no video. It's just audio only. And you know, there's all sorts of spaces that people we could go and hold a space there and just talk via audio instead of, you know, through here. So it's definitely, there's definitely big plans in place for X.
Yeah, did you see that he was on Joe Rogan again on Halloween? I believe it was.
Yeah,
I don't.
yep.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I want to see that or listen to it. Or it was Elon Musk, Bilbo Baggins. It looked like he was dressed up as. Like you know, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think somebody
Um,
said he called himself the Prince of Australia or something like that. Yeah, it was something funny. But you know,
Joe Rogan. Did you see what Joe Rogan was dressed up as?
Yeah, I have actually started watching that podcast on Spotify. Because
if I'm correct, Joe Rogan dressed up as this guy that was at, I believe, a baseball game that people said looked like Joe Rogan, but he had like this blonde like hair, kind of like He-Man.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Rogan
yeah.
dressed up as
Yeah.
the guy that they said looked like Joe Rogan. That's so fucking weird, but funny as. There was a lot of memes going around after he did that. A lot of people were saying that the wrong person was Joe Rogan. Like they had the picture of Joe Rogan next to the guy people mistaken for Joe Rogan, and they were calling him He-Man and all sorts of stuff. Brilliant.
And also on that same episode, they did it in the studio because Elon drove a Cybertruck to the studio, right? And
Right, yeah.
Joe Rogan got a crossbow and fired an arrow into the side of the Cybertruck, and Elon bet him $1 it would go through, and or it wouldn't go through or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I do like Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't know what it is. I do listen to Spotify for music, but I haven't really gone on to. When I watch Joe Rogan, I watch the little short clips he does on YouTube. You know, like 10-minute ones.
Oh, the
Just really
yeah.
that one probably will get me back into watching it because I enjoyed the last time Elon was on there with him.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
yeah, he just comes across like a real dude, Elon Musk. Like people say he's this, that, and the other. When he was on Joe Rogan, he was just like anyone. He had a
yeah.
lot of
But
good information to share, but
he when you see him on Joe Rogan, I think Joe just asked him straight questions, and
yeah,
this time around he's having a cigar, he's having some whiskey, and
yeah.
it's just
When it,
it's just one-on-one. There's none of that bullcrap sort of thing that some people
yeah,
would.
that's
Oh my
not
God,
really.
it's Elon Musk. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
no filters, and Joe
Yeah.
Rogan's seen a lot of different people, from politicians to entertainers, so he's not like kissing his ass.
Yeah.
He's being real, and
Yeah,
He
I
also
don't.
go on.
Oh, I was just going to say I don't watch every Joe Rogan,
yeah,
podcast, but I tune in like most people. I probably tune in to from time to time.
yeah, especially if it's someone you're interested in
Mm,
listening to the interview about.
yeah,
Yeah, the Kanye
Yeah,
West
'cause-
one was kind of interesting because Kanye West comes across like a bit of a twat a lot of the times, but on Joe Rogan, he had a lot of quite good points. He had some stuff that I'm like, oh, I can actually relate or understand where he's coming from with that. Even though he normally walks around like he's dressed like he's a homeless guy that's going to, like he sometimes wears Wellington boots and just all this other stuff. Sometimes I think he tries a little bit too hard. That's Kanye West I'm talking about. Like he tries to do stuff just to be different, where, sometimes I think he should just like relax a bit, but who am I to tell him what to do? So,
maybe I wasn't signed in before. That's why I dropped out. I've probably signed in. I wonder if that was the problem with sharing audio because I wasn't signed in.
okay, wasn't signed into StreamYard or
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
So maybe
possibly
I'll
it
just
is. Try
maybe
again.
I'll just
Share again, and then
I'll share
see at
something
least
complete. I'll see what happens here.
no sound.
No sound.
Nothing. No sound whatsoever. Unless you have to share the link with G again or something, Mark.
Yeah, no. I don't know what's going on because it used to work.
You did,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause-
You shared stuff last time we would chat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I remember.
Oh well.
So how's
One of those.
everyone in the chat? Everyone's gone a bit quiet in there. Is everyone still
Yeah,
okay with the land of the chat?
Yeah, because last time.
How many lurkers we got, G?
What,
Yeah, because
so
we've got
far,
Paul's.
nine?
The last one
No-
is
no
anything
one's
is
talking.
Paul. Last time anyone did anything is Paul shared a laughing emoji. Paul did about 13 minutes ago.
Scared them all
I can't
away.
remember what it was. It was something silly I said. I remember. Cody's still here.
Cody said, yeah, but still here, guys. Smiling emojis. I know Cody would.
All the drama tripped everyone out. You want to call it
Cody,
drama?
the Aussie Alistair Fanbrony, is still here, and he'll be here till the end. Be Cody, the Aussie Alistair Fanbrony. He'll be here to the end.
There must be something right if Cody wants to listen.
Yeah, well, Cody would be here to the end. Like, if you did a 24-hour stream, Cody would be here. You know.
I should do that sometime. I don't know.
We're certainly up to our watch hours.
I could fall asleep for you.
Yeah.
The other problem is when when G decided to stop the live stream, it goes about 11 hours 55 minutes. If when G decided to stop the live stream after a while, like past 12 hours.
I'm gonna see how long they say you can stream for.
Maybe
Wonder if they
you
can
could do a stream from your bathroom, G. I wonder if that'd get you banned.
Didn't someone else do that and they showed that tackle or something?
I don't know how they could see it, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, you tell me, Mark, we all know.
That's not one of those life mysteries that, we'll probably never know.
Hey, Mark, you tell us, we all know.
Oh, hang
Hoping
on.
the limit on Facebook is 8 hours.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's another 8 hours, 9 minutes, and 39 seconds for you. 7 hours,
I know
9 minutes, and 35 seconds. Go on.
Twitch people have
Just-
done 24-hour streams.
Yeah, I just jumped to the other end of the spaceship, guys.
Oh, yeah, that was bloody quick. I just looked down at my phone for a second and didn't even see you move.
Oh,
I
teleportation.
blinked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know he's a Super Saiyan?
Start calling you Spock.
I'll just get some pointed ears. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. Have you been watching the Y-Files at all, G?
No, because I guess I put out content this week. I spent a lot of my time editing and stuff. I saw some space. Well, I didn't watch it, but I wanted to see some of the spaced out radio because they had a lot of stuff for Halloween. I noticed a
Yeah.
lot of like cryptid type stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, that caught my eye. Seeing the notifications popping up. Yeah, aliens and monsters and Halloween episodes. Yeah, they had a couple of Halloween ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so I'll have to put some time aside and excuse me, and yeah, that's definitely the kind of stuff that I enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
Oh, even looking at the list now, they've even got a Super Soldier one 2 days ago, which would be interesting to listen to.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, Super Soldiers, My Labs, and Secrets of Everything. So yeah.
Oh, I think I may have seen that one.
Okay. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
Oh yeah, I didn't end up watching that one for some reason. I think I just sometimes, depending on where I am at work, sometimes I get to tune in and other times I don't, so
Yeah.
it's a bit of a hard time because they come on at 2:00 our time, which is 9:00 their time. And
yeah, right.
So lately I'm around that time I'm sort of not finishing up, but I'm heading back to the yard, and so I don't always get to watch it and listen to it. So, and then by the time I get home and I get down, and if I relax a little bit, I start watching something else, and it's it's just one of those things. But most of the time I catch his shows and things like that.
Yeah, like I need to get back into painting. I haven't painted for like probably all of this week, and that gives me a perfect opportunity to smash out of, especially when you're like I'm painting those hours. Like I'm kind of focusing on painting, but also I have my headset on, I can listen, and that being podcasts that you don't really necessarily need to watch even on YouTube. If you you can still see them, but it'll give me an opportunity to smash out a lot of stuff that I need to catch up on.
One thing I like about the the Y-Files, it's some of the stuff is not too long. Some of his later stuff is getting like 20 and 30 minutes, sometimes a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's just good for me. For me, it's just good entertainment. Well,
Yeah.
there's also some truth behind it that they put a lot of work into it, and it just strikes that nice balance for me of, okay, you've got the story, and then a little towards the end, he'll talk about the research and where the stories came from and all that sort of stuff, But
Yeah.
I watch a fair bit of stuff. I really do. Lately, what I've been watching is I like watching these will it start videos where guys.
Yeah.
There's a few guys here in Australia, but mainly in America. They find this old bulldozer or something like that in the bush, and it hasn't run for like 20 years, and they try and start it. And in some cases, they spend a bit of time on it, a fair bit of time, and they put they'll get some new batteries on it and things like that. And in most cases, they get these things running within about 3 to 4 hours or something like that. It's pretty incredible, actually, to watch some of this stuff. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Like you were saying last time, that's why, like, I don't even have normal channels tuned into my TV, and I haven't for probably 10 years or whatever. Like, I've just, even my last TV, it's always been, if I ever do want to watch like Channel 10 or whatever, I'll like get the app or go to that sort of stuff. I won't, but most of the time I've always been kind of happy with YouTube for such a long time for just different entertainment and just, a lot of times it is this sort of stuff we're talking about, like just, aliens and monsters or whatever, as well as just like cooking shows or just, there's so much variety. Like you can, it's kind of just like Google, but for videos, you can just type in any topic and it's bound to have stuff come up. And that's a good way to find channels, obviously, on topics that you're interested in.
mm,
So yeah, it's just always been, and I guess you feel a little bit more connected, being most of it's not really scripted, or some of this stuff when it comes to research. Obviously, they need to research and they need to find out the information out, of course. But it's just like you feel like you're dealing with real people, and just it's a lot more entertaining than watching Home and Away or whatever.
yeah. Well, that's what I like about So That Now You Know channel. It's you're getting away from the headlines of the news where anything to do with Elon Musk or Tesla vehicles or electric vehicle is all doom and gloom. You throw the batteries away after 3 years. They all catch on fire. Elon Musk has done this, and most of the time it's all crazy. And if you go and watch a channel like theirs, they're doing reviews of electric vehicles. They're telling you what it's like. They tow with their electric vehicle. They do road trips. These guys, those two guys, that father and son team, they started out their channel, right? Must be 6 or 7 years ago now. And their first, they did a road trip in their Tesla model, whatever it was. And that was when the supercharger network was nowhere near what it's like today, especially in North America. But they did some road trip, and it cost them like, I don't know, $10 in electricity or something, whatever it was. And these guys just report the facts, and they don't beat around the bush, and they get people doing reviews of supercharger places, and it's just really good information.
Is a It has come a long way, the car industry, in the last 20 or so years with electric cars coming on the scene and everything.
Well, to tell you the truth, Roger, electric cars are nothing new. Electric vehicles are actually old technology because they were around 100 years ago.
Mm.
You don't believe me? I'll
Now-
send you.
I believe you. I
Yeah,
believe you.
that's
That's a
a lot.
surprise.
When
What,
it comes to a lot of that stuff, from my knowledge, wasn't they trying to keep that kind of not mainstream for so long? Because
Yeah.
obviously the oil companies and just like all the, like all these big companies that are invested in how vehicles are run with, oil
That's
and
what I was
all that
thinking.
sort of stuff.
I'm surprised
So
those old they are.
I have heard about companies buying, old well, power run vehicles because they obviously didn't want it to compete with them getting money. That's from sort of my knowledge. That's why when you was talking about that, and we was looking at the Elon Musk video, it had crossed my mind, like, why they're sort of, I guess, allowing him to do that. Not trying to stop him from doing that because, as you said, it's old technology, and they just, I guess there's not enough to sort of stop the other cars from being bought and stuff at the moment. But it's a lot cleaner technology, for the planet and stuff. So really,
yeah, I'll
the
share
way
a
we
link
should be
here.
going.
So here's a link for everyone to go and watch, and that's Jay Leno's garage, where he has a 1909 Baker electric vehicle, and basically it looks like a horseless carriage, and that's what they called them back in the days. That's what they referred to cars. And really, the only difference is back then they were using lead acid batteries. That was the technology of the time. So what's changed is the battery technology, and that's still it's way better than what it used to be, right? But it's still limiting how far electric cars can go. However, in saying that, Teslas would have to be. Actually, no, they're not. They used to be the most efficient vehicles in terms of energy usage, but there is another one on the market. But you would have to say a Tesla would have to be the best efficient vehicle in terms of production cars today.
That's pretty interesting information there, Mark. Seem to know your cars and the trains not well, very well.
I do, but there's better people out there than me that know more. Everyone will argue. Look, so electric vehicles are not zero emission vehicles. They still give off emissions, but what they are zero tailpipe emission vehicles. So let's break that down and put that in perspective. Our normal everyday cars, like I drive, you drive, right? The ones you might get an Uber in or something like that. They have an internal combustion engine, and out the back comes, CO2 and the other bad stuff out of the tailpipe, right? You don't have that. You don't have any emissions from the tailpipe in an electric vehicle. However, all vehicles, regardless of who makes them, all have emissions. Like, for instance, your tires, right? There's particles of rubber that comes off your tires. That's why tires wear. There's brake dust that comes off the brakes. That goes into the environment as well. And that does happen with Teslas or electric vehicles, but not so much, because with electric vehicles, you can slow the vehicle down with regenerative braking. So they have this system where they have a one pedal driving. So when you're driving along, you just use the one pedal, and when you take your foot off the accelerator, right, the vehicle automatically regenerates and slows the vehicle down. In most cases, you only have to touch the brakes if you absolutely have to, like in a severe emergency or coming to a quick stop, you know, that the regen braking can't slow you down enough to stop. However, most people, I've heard of Teslas going something like 100,000 miles without the brakes being replaced, you know, things like that. So yeah, some people think it is, and the batteries last way longer than, you know, than what people seem to think. You'll get people out there going, oh, you have to throw the battery away after 3 months or 3 years or whatever it is. Well, most people are finding that that's not the case. You know, the batteries are going a lot longer than what they ever thought.
How long do you reckon roughly they would go for?
Let's Google that. Hang on. Let's see. How long do EV batteries last? So, so there's one video there. There's a guy talking about this one car's done 102,000 miles. So what they're finding is, depending on the technology of the battery, because the technology in batteries are changing all the time, even though it's the same, the chemical makeup is changing over time. It's quite easily to get 10 years out of a battery, I believe. And then after that, the battery can have a second life as a off-site storage or something like that. So, you know, when you think about it, depending on how you drive your car, your internal combustion engine car, after about 5 years, maybe 10 years, you might have to do an engine rebuild, you know. So, yeah, so go figure. You know, honestly, what we're doing now with internal combustion engines, that's 120 odd year old technology, right? The technology we're dealing with electric cars now is only 15, maybe 20 years old at the most. And even if you go back 10 years or even say 12 years and have a look how far they could go in an electric vehicle then as to how far you can go in an electric vehicle now. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it certainly has improved. Oh, Dexter's back in the house.
Yeah, hey Dexter. Yeah, because you're you obviously, like, you're into steam trains and stuff. So
yeah,
is that just you know, like you being interested in like this sort of technology? Is it just because you're interested in you know, like I guess, what's your opinion on either? Like, do you think they both have a place in society, or do you think we should move towards, you know, like electric stuff, or like you said before, it's not perfect? And
well, no system is perfect, right? So back in the day, here's the way it worked. Back in the day, dim dark ages, right? Your mode of transport was horse and buggy, right?
yeah,
And most people didn't, if they went geographically, most people, okay, so horse and buggy. If you wanted to go on a long trip, you went on a sailing boat. Now, you know, coming from the UKG, that most people stayed within their village, right? And even today, a lot of people in the UK don't travel that far. They stay within their town or their country or their county, right? it's quite rare for people to go further than their county. You know, I won't say it's
Yeah,
rare.
yeah.
It's
Mm.
right, but back in the day, so then came along steam technology, right? So steam technology replaced horses or horse and carts or the bullocks and so on. And then came the internal combustion engine. And so each evolutionary step, we've slightly improved the efficiency.
Yeah.
You know, and like all technology, when it starts out, it's not that efficient. And steam engines were
Yeah.
the same. Even steam engines you see running around today, that's 120-year-old technology. You know, that's what George Stephenson pretty well perfected back in the day at the Rainhill trials with Stephenson's rocket, right? So, and the other thing you've got to remember is steam turbines powered by coal provided a lot of our electricity, not just in this country, but, you know, in England too. Eventually, yeah, they've gone over the gas, they've introduced, and as we've gone on, you know, the diesel engine that was invented by the name Dr. Rudolf Diesel, it's a little bit more efficient than the steam engine. Still not totally efficient, right? I think the diesel engine is 30% efficient or something like that. And then, so your next step, the next major step in efficiency in terms of energy production is nuclear. And that's what you see in a lot of naval vessels, especially the US Navy. But majority of ships running around today, the cargo ships that bring all our packages from Amazon that we order, those ships are running big internal combustion engine, big diesel engines. They're burning crude oil. Now, they don't measure their fuel usage in gallons or liters. They measure it in tons, right? Tons per hour. That's what it takes to move these big ships through the water.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they're trying to find that perfect thing. So they've been searching for years for cold fusion, you know, that fusion reaction technology. So we're going through a process and we're getting better. Of course, the advantage of nuclear technology, right? The only difference there is the efficiency. You're using that nuclear reaction, and they use water to take the heat away because, you know, look at Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, where they had meltdowns. You use the water, the water turns to steam, and the steam turns the turbines. And that's what was happening in powerhouses back in the day when they were coal-fired. The coal would turn the water into steam. Steam would then turn the turbines to provide power. So the only downside of nuclear, of course, is the waste that we have to deal with. So, and any sort of technology, most technology, anything on a small scale is usually pretty harmless. But when you start scaling it up, you know, you soon find out that there's problems somewhere, or the use of it in a mass situation produces some sort of waste of some sort.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty crazy how, you know, all the stuff that makes this planet work. Because, like, do you think we'll ever move away from some of that technology? Because obviously, those big vehicles, they need a lot to be able to run those compared to an electric scooter, bike, or car. Like, do you think we'll ever? Like, do you think other technology will come in? I mean, we obviously you're into UFOs, so there's other technology out there that can do stuff that we're not being told. It's just will we ever get to, you know?
Well,
Because they keep on talking about going to Mars and all the rest of it. Like, will that sort of stuff ever happen in our lifetime? Or is it kind of like disclosure stuff? Will it, like, you know, will it always just be spoke about but never really happen?
yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know. People
Yeah,
want
this
it to
is kind
happen.
of like what. Yeah,
You know, do we all want to keep paying for power? Not really. You know, you have a look at Nikola Tesla. What we take granted today, most of the stuff that we use, Nikola Tesla worked on or invented. AC power being one of them. You know, just one. And here, there's a lot of stuff that he invented that we have no idea about. You know, and that's what he was doing at that Wardenclyffe. He wanted to, you know, transmit power around the world for free.
yeah, good old Tesla, Nikola.
Yeah, well, Nikolai, yeah, he's pretty interesting sort of character. If you have a look at some of the videos on YouTube, so there's bloody thousands of them about his designs and how he used to do things, and he had this ritual about doing, like, before he went into his house, he'd go walk around it 3 times. He used to like 3, 6, and 9. These numbers, he used to do things in 3, 6, and 9. And it's quite crazy. You have to sort of go back and watch it again. But just recently, I've been watching Randall Carlson. He's a guy that appeared on Ancient Apocalypse with what's his name? That Netflix series. Oh God. He's also been on Joe Rogan. Anyway, he's made mention of this guy.
Graham Hancock, the presenter.
Thank you. Yes, Graham Hancock. But Randall Carlson made mention on a Joe Rogan podcast. He sort of let the cat out of the bag about this guy here in Australia that had this invention, and you'd connect it up to a internal combustion engine or some sort of engine, and it would reclaim or recirculate the exhaust gases and make it more efficient and virtually put out 0 carbon dioxide and almost 0 monoxide. And it's called the plasmoid generator. If you look at plasmoid generator, it's been presented at the Tesla Tech. He took it to Germany, displayed it there, and it's got some real potential. And what they're trying to do now is get it so that it's more compact and can be retrofitted to pretty well any vehicle. Did you ever get into? Oh, go on. I was just going to say, to answer your question, yes, there are. There is other other technology out there that I'm sure that we don't know of, or it's been suppressed. You know, I've heard stories.
And also, if we was going to move into that, it would obviously take a lot of time anyway. But you're definitely going to get a lot of resistance from the companies that are making a fortune off the current technology. You know.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy either way, really. But And at the end of the day, like who really wants to think of the environment? You know, who wants to think of the planet? It's all comes down to greed and money and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, it is a hard. It's not as easy as me just to stand here and try and pretend that I have a moral point of view, because people are going to lose jobs and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's definitely a hard situation where it's not going to be able to be fixed overnight. And you know, all these industries, if I guess those people could move into the more modern technology, those industries. But I mean, a lot of people have trades. A lot of people have education and the training when it comes to, you know, being a diesel mechanic or whatever it may be.
Mm.
Where it's you know, they've put a lot of their time and life and all that stuff into doing what they do. So you
But
know, it's kind of just it's like, will it what happened in our life? But it's, you know, like a lot of people have dedicated their life and time to doing what they do.
Mm.
So it's, you
If you
know, I
look
wouldn't
at
want to see people suffer, but then, like, you know, the planet needs to be healed in certain ways. You know, like give it a bit of a break when it comes to certain stuff.
yeah, the thing is, G, if you look back in history, over time, technology has affected what we do, right? There's jobs that people are doing today that weren't invented 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago. You know, technology will always replace jobs. It always has. You know, take for instance, well, look at automation, right? How many people have lost jobs to automation? You know, tens of
Yeah.
thousands, if not millions, and that's just automation. You know, and there's other situations where people have been replaced by technology because of an invention, or you know, it's always been that way. It always will be that way. You know, we've got. Just have a look at Elon Musk. You know, for instance, because you know he's in the headlines. He's building that Artemis robot. Hey,
I was going to say he's a bit of the talk of the show tonight.
Yeah.
Old Elon.
he's got that Artemis robot, and what they're doing with that Artemis robot. Well, we've already seen robots in use. What's that mob that made those robot sheep and robot dog?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know,
Anyone will remember a big Roger? His bloody memory's awesome.
yeah.
Forgot his name, but I know what you're talking about. I can see his face.
Where am I going with this?
You said something about.
Yeah, so
Go on.
there's already situations in one of the ports in America where people who used to drive those trucks to take the containers, when they'd get taken off the ship, they'd put on those trucks and then they get run around. Well, that's been replaced by automatic vehicles, you know, driverless vehicles. So there's technologies, and even now there's companies out there that have driverless cars, you know, that take basically a robo taxi that take people from place to place in these robo taxis. You know, there's plenty of situations in those. So there's always going to be technology that replaces people's jobs.
Yeah, because I know Elon Musk wants warn humanity about AI. Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking also said something about it too before he died.
Yeah, that's right. But all you can do is keep going.
Hi, JJ.
There's always there's always going to be work out there. At times, you know, there's definitely going to be, even now it's funny, there's a shortage of workers out there. At times we at my work struggles to find people to do stuff.
So,
But,
what is,
yeah, like it's you know, like there's a lot of people doing that. That's all sorts of jobs out there, but there's still industries that are sort of suffering. Like you said, there's, you know, a lot of people that they, you know, are needed.
One thing that bosses complain about, and I know my bosses do, they always complain about the staff costs, you know, how much they have to pay their staff, and they always complain about the fuel, how much they have to pay for fuel. But you know, you never hear them complaining about how much they pay the management or anything like that. Righto, AJ. Jay, have a good one, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. I think technology will get, you know, like if you have a look at our phones, I don't know how old yours is, G, but the technology in that is much the same. There's probably just the features that have updated. You know, phone technology hasn't changed that much.
Well, I was on a plan for 3 years, and I am wanting to upgrade, but it's like, do I want to, you know, lock myself in a contract again, or just buy outright? But buying like a new phone outright would be like, you know, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 going on.
Yeah.
For like the modern technology, I have been looking into the new Samsung 23 Ultra. It sounds like it's got some really good technology in it, like a really fast processor. You know, like the stuff it's got in it are possibly better than the laptop that I'm
Yep.
using. Just
Yep.
like the Ultra sounds like it's very good, and I know you're more of like a, you know, an Apple sort of fan, but it's just listening. Like before, normally I make a big purchase like that, I do like, you know, research and stuff. I don't just, you know, you do get that itch though when you do find out, oh yeah, it's got some good stuff in it. It did sort of make me like looking around at options to, because I don't have that money just sitting there to just blow on a phone. But you know, I'm definitely doing some research and stuff to see. And yeah, it sounds like this new Samsung, even though it's like going on a year old, and they'll bring out, you know, probably a new one next year. It's like, the technology even in phones is crazy these days. As I said, like all the processing, and like you can even get a terabyte. I mean, you probably know this, but you can get like a phone with a terabyte of like memory or space on it, and that's just crazy. Because that's my laptop's the internal sort of space it has is like 500 and something. I do have like a, you know, a storage as well, like an attachment, but just when a phone, and that would be good because I do a lot of my editing and stuff on this, and I'm just finding that I run out of like memory, so I'll need to obviously sort of delete a lot of the videos because I'm making videos and stuff, and it just a phone like that would be perfect for me. So I don't think I need that much space though. Maybe they do like a 200 odd, you know, like the lowest is 200 and something gig, and then you get 5, and then you get the terabyte and obviously you're paying more for each one.
Yeah.
but it's just sort of crazy how much phones have just like changed in the years.
Well, look, the reason I'm not so much, I suppose I am a bit of a fanboy for Apple, but I just like the platform. The platform works for me. It does everything I need it to do. What really sold me with Apple was their Apple Care, so their version of a warranty. And I have not seen this with other manufacturers, and I don't know why other manufacturers don't follow suit in terms of what Apple does, especially when you get Apple Care, because you could have a problem if you got So if you buy a product, you get Apple Care, you're covered for whatever it is, 3 years or whatever it is. And if you have a problem, regardless of day or night, as long as you can phone them, you can talk to one of their technicians online, regardless of where they are in the world, and they'll get you sorted out. If they can't get you sorted out, then they'll obviously refer you to an Apple store. But not this computer, but the one up the shed that I've done stuff on. I had a problem with it many years ago when I brought it. Took it back to them, and it was taking a while, so I just rang up to find out, and they said, "Yeah, look, we're just waiting on parts or something like that." Look, yeah, we realise it's been a while. You've been a good customer. You haven't complained, and so on. So, it's ready to go, and we're not going to charge you for it. So that's what really sold it for me there and then, and I've been with them ever since. If I was to, and when I've upgraded my phones, I've mainly upgraded for the cameras. The phone themselves have been absolutely fine. The battery starts to, run down a bit more, but it's mainly the cameras. Better camera quality is what I've upgraded for with my technology. If I don't know if Samsung were like that with their coverage in terms of backup service and all that sort of stuff, then I probably wouldn't have a hesitation in using their system. In fact, my first smartphone was a Android phone, so which I've still got actually.
Well, it's good that Apple has been, like, it's good when a company, is loyal to customers that use their products for a lot of time. That's how it should be. I mean, they shouldn't necessarily get treated any different, but you do as well. If you've got all different phones, laptops. I mean, most of my stuff is Android, but we've kind of discussed that before, and that's just for different reasons that I ended up moving onto, Android. And I quite like Samsung and just the way it's set out. I mean, they are probably quite similar, in a lot of ways, but then they just have the slight little differences that, it's kind of like, I guess I'm an Xbox fan for different reasons. One, because of the exclusive titles, but also the way the controller is compared to Sony. But I eventually when I was a kid, I did have Sony consoles before Xbox was around, which is obviously a Microsoft product. And I just eventually switched. And I haven't had an iPhone, but I've had iPods and stuff before in the past.
I remember the old iPods.
Each for their own, really. So,
at the end of the day, the thing is, regardless of what platform we use, these things on this thing I'm holding in my hand will do exactly the same as what G's phone or your phone will do, Roger.
Yeah.
You know, they still connect to the internet. They still take photos. We can make phone calls. We can transfer files. We can do all sorts of things, you know.
As far as phones concerned, Australia's got the third fastest mobile phone connectivity to the internet, like phone connected to the internet in the world. I know the computer one's connected to the internet's a bit down, but the phone's pretty up. The mobile phone's pretty up. What they measure is computer to the connect to the internet, which is a bit down, like the laptops and desktops, computers and stuff.
You're talking speed.
Yeah,
connection.
like speed connectivity. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 5G is definitely definitely helped that. You know, just imagine if we had 5Gs on screen, what would we do?
I wouldn't drop out as much, that's for sure.
When it comes to what are we 8K now? Like 4K is
that.
kind of like, you know, dying off.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Are we?
Or 8K or 5G, and
Or
I
is
mean, why do they want to bring in 5G? Bloody, I thought 1G was enough. I can imagine 5 of me.
I thought they were bringing in 6G next.
I was trying to come up with a name for that other channel that I want to move my lives on, and I think it would be really good as well if the old Pirate Life, the mainland Prawn Star, does more lives, and also Starman down there. I think it would be really good if you know, like you guys sort of do once off, like if it's weekly or if it's every couple of weeks or whatever. Obviously, you have different schedules, but definitely be good. But yeah, when I did come up with a few different names, but I ended up just changing it to G. I mean, who mentioned that earlier? I think it was Paul said it in the Rogers chat.
Yeah.
You can't have just one letter, so it annoyed me.
Yeah.
But I might. I did have a few names that like Untitled with G was one. I did write a few down. I was going to even ask people what they sort of thought might sound good, but yeah, I was going to. It's funny that you changed your channel, Mark, because one of the names I came up was The World According to G. For a while. The Failed Experiment was another one. Knowledge is Infinite is their name that I use for a group and stuff. The G Spot. But when I mean, before I changed names, I searched the G Spot because I thought that would be a good, because I even came up with like a bit of an intro, like "Welcome to the G Spot, where we get up close and intimate." I thought that would be funny. But then when I put in the G Spot into YouTube, there's a couple, like it looked like a sex sort of channel, and then there was 2 big channels that one had like 25,000, one had like 14,000. I don't really want to compete, because if people were typing that in when you're a new channel, you're not gonna, like with Funkin' Hungry, you normally type that in, and because it's different, like you type that in and my channel and my stuff comes up to G Banger.
That's got my attention with Paul's
around. Take care, AJ, and he said he's had a tough few days. Hopefully stuff improves for you soon, and as I always say to you and everyone else, you know ways to get a hold of me, even in the comment section or whatever, if you want to ever have a chat. You know, always here for all of you people. But yeah, he did say that 13 minutes ago or something, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, I changed my name because I thought, Steam Train Mark, that's what I've been for, God, a long time. And I didn't realise you could change your name. And I thought, most people don't get it. They don't understand it, when I say it. So I thought, I went into it, and you can change your name. You can only change your name twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'll just put Mark's Adventures on Earth, so.
Yeah.
But then, and I thought maybe I should put, because eventually, I keep saying I want to do something, but I never have, sort of thing. Maybe I should put Mark's Man Cave or something like that,
It's up to you.
Right. That's why when I was reading the different stuff to you guys before, I'm a little bit similar but because I can't, I guess, go, because I love doing it, like talking about UFOs and naked aliens or whatever. But really, as well, like the sort of Up Late with G and even the Mondays, like we could get into those topics, but we could get into other stuff. And, especially having Roger on here, we will,
Yeah.
chat about, I guess, just life, like that's kind of what it is. It's life, and it can get really deep and we can get really, serious, or we can just have a complete laugh, or, the G bag or whatever. So it's
Like
just,
the time
yeah. So that's
like
why
the time I have
I
a
was
brother
gonna
on
do
here.
that
You
I
know?
was going to do that on the Robert. I tried not to say his name, and when Roger said something, I just ended up coming out with it. But the Naked Vloggers, like when we was going to do the joint channel, I was going to do Untitled with G, and that was like a name. So I thought that's a pretty good name. So I might go with that. But I mean, I ended up just doing the star symbol and the G in the center. So I might keep that. I mean, the channel name doesn't matter that much, but it's funny when I just go to say Steam Train Mark a lot. For some reason, I always go to say stream because I don't know. I guess when I'm streaming, it's like somehow in my subconscious or it's on my mind. So I always like get those words or go to say the right word.
And that's sort of one of the reasons why I changed it. I thought, I'll just make it something that rolls off the tongue a bit easier. Steam Train Mark, it rolls off my tongue easily. And Steam Trains is what I'm into. That was my hobby. That's my hobby. And that's why I called it that, But since being on here with you guys and, I'm thinking, maybe I should change it just so that when if I start doing something more serious with it, it's a bit more, a bit more realistic sort of thing. And there's no reason why I can't. There's no reason why I can't talk about steam trains as an interest.
Yeah. No, definitely. Because if you do live streams as well, like you've said, you're interested in kind of teaching that stuff or just talking about as you work. But I mean, you might do that's kind of why I'm going to move away from Funk and Hungry eventually. And I'm pretty close to being monetized and stuff now. Hopefully, YouTube sees the content and agrees with it and all that stuff. But it's just these live streams had become more than at first they were kind of catching up with friends, but also I did kind of plan maybe to do live chili challenges and all that stuff. But meeting a lot of you guys on the other channel that we used to be on, it's I just kind of enjoyed just us coming on and not really even having topics and just talking and sort of seeing what happens. So that's really the main reason I thought doing another channel, and then I can do other content that's not food related, and then I have my hobby channel is on the channel I'll move the lives to. At least I could do vlogging or other stuff that isn't in a certain niche. It doesn't have to be food and stuff like that.
That's one thing. If you move to another channel, won't you be starting again?
I will be starting again, but like once Funkin' Hungry is like just a part of the YouTube partner program, I can just kind of lay back on I won't need to really do the watch hours as much, and that's part reason as well. I guess doing the lives, I can just go back to and if I do lives on Funkin' Hungry, it probably will be like food related content or whatever. Like if I'm ever out and about and I just decide to do a live stream, maybe like some people do live streams from restaurants, or if I'm just out and about and I do grab food, like I could just do stuff like that. And I probably will, because I am streaming on the other, like both the channels, and I have been doing that for a while now, streaming on both channels. So all this content will be on the new channel, so I probably will eventually just like how you can like make the videos private on Funkin' Hungry, like the live streams I can make private, just so they're still there. But yeah, like they will be on the new channel. So I don't know how interested people are going back to live streams, re-watching old live streams, but at least there's a bit of a catalogue there, for people to do that on.
Well, you just, it's one of those things you just don't know. At least if it's there, people can go and watch it at their leisure, or if they come across it by chance or something like that, or the YouTube algorithm recommends it for some reason. If they're doing a search on food reviews or something like that. But that's one thing I couldn't work out with the vlogger.
Yeah.
He done all this time, he got up to the magic hours, and and then he was just going to toss it all in and go to another channel. I just couldn't sort of work that out.
And people probably do feel like the same with me, but the thing was that was kind of his bread and butter. Like he's doing the live streams, that was kind of really the only content he did. And then until he started, joining in on doing food stuff again. But Funkin' Hungry was always kind of like, a food related channel where hopefully eventually I will build on that and do other stuff besides just reviews. I might, do I've got other ideas when it comes to food related content, like maybe a little bit of like traveling involved, because I really love those shows where there's a little bit of traveling, but that it's food related as well. I mean, I'd love to like sort of speak to other cultures about food, because I really find that interesting. Other cultures, they have a different upbringing, different types of food, different spices and stuff used. And so hopefully as Funkin' Hungry grows, it might become a little bit of that as well. Just expand and do stuff like that. But I just feel like these live streams, it would be good to move them to another channel. But I also did want to possibly do other stuff on this other channel, like it just doesn't need to be food related content then as well. And yeah, it's definitely going to take ages to build up another channel, and I've done 2 now, and it takes ages for people to find your channel, start enjoying it. But hopefully if I kind of promote it on Funkin' Hungry, or just do what I do with Funkin' Hungry, just just let people know that there's another, and I might share the live streams. I mean, it's definitely going to take a while, and I could see why people might feel like I could just keep it here. But I just feel like there's some people probably tune into this thinking, if they're not regulars, like I love all the regular people, but if someone's like, oh, I'm new to Funkin' Hungry, I watch his food stuff, he's live, go on here and we're talking about naked aliens, I might be a little bit confused with what's going on, but
as long as you don't blur the lines here, right?
yeah. Or sometimes we'll have to blur the lines if we do get a naked alien on. We might have to blur a few different sections.
Hopefully one doesn't do a spacewalk past me, But anyway, anything's possible. We'll just do what NASA would do in their live feeds. They'd get the astronaut who's out doing a spacewalk to put his hand over the camera lens.
Or when there's
That's-
certain objects flying around.
Yeah, that's no joke. It's actually, you can find that on YouTube.
We should find it on YouTube.
Mm. Yeah, no, NASA was famous when they used to broadcast live.
Yeah.
Suddenly, something would be coming up in the horizon or the background, and then they'd
Mm.
suddenly cut the feed or switch, or yeah. So
And it might be a bit silly, but I feel like some of the content we talk about, I've worked quite, I guess, hard, if you want to say, on Funkin' Hungry. So we can be a bit more risky, I guess, on another channel where we kind of go ham on this anyway, hard, and like we get into some subjects that a lot of people don't understand and stuff like that. I guess one reason that came to mind is when you was talking about NASA. Just I find NASA very shady when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like they have plenty of money and they just pretend they're just looking at stars or whatever, but there's a lot more to them than that. And like you're saying, when it comes to anything like actually real that could, I mean, obviously we've spoke about this sort of topic quite a lot, but they could definitely tell and come out with a lot more information about what's really going on than just some of their images that look like it looks like a computer image, like when they show planets and stuff, it looks like CGI most of the time to me.
yeah, NASA.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, there's a few sort of little acronyms out there about NASA.
Never a straight answer.
That's the one. Yeah, yeah, and they have been well known to airbrush anomalies out of the photos. That's been proven time and time again.
Yeah, like sometimes they're funny, and I don't know, what to believe. But sometimes they, like when they showed, I don't know, just off the top of the head, like Jupiter or something, and then someone will show like a desk, like wood grain or something, and when you zoom into it, they kind of show like this texture is kind of similar to the sort of texture they're using. Hello, Mrs. Rolfers.
Yeah, well,
Hi, Mrs. Rolfers.
hello, Mrs. Rolfers. The other thing is like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Well, I've heard one person refer to it as silly attempt to investigate, because for the amount of time they've been going, they're using radio frequencies to look for extraterrestrial life. But you get someone like the guy who's running it, Seth Shorstack. If you ask him about aliens, he will not mention that word. He'll go a roundabout way in asking the questions and virtually say, no, there's no chance that there's aliens out there. Yet they've been doing the same thing for the last 30 years. It's crazy.
And it's kind of like funny saying, "Oh, there's nothing out there." It's like, well, look at history. There's loads of statues and architecture and all sorts that do depict non-human entities. So it's like, there's nothing out there. There's no evidence at all, even though that sound like that's kind of what the company is meant to be based around. And it's like, oh no, we haven't found anything yet. It's like Mayan culture, Egyptian culture, even older cultures like Sumerians, and they have the Anunnaki, and which they sort of the sky gods that they believed in. There's loads of pictures, like carved into, some sort of reason, like I wouldn't say it's stone, probably limestone or whatever it is, but I mean, you look into a lot of old languages, and we've discussed this a lot. If you look into indigenous cultures, they all speak about like sky people, where are they talking about the craft, or are they talking about like actual, physical entities that can fly around and stuff? Because I mean, in Christianity, you have angels and stuff like that, and then you go into like other religions or other cultures throughout history, and they have their own variations. And like when it comes to Chinese culture and stuff like that, they have all sorts of flying chariots and dragons and all sorts. And is that them trying to explain their vehicles, or is that them trying to actually explain like creatures that were actually around?
Yeah, well,
So I mean, we could
even look at some of the historical paintings. Not there's cave paintings, but historical paintings that have been done over the years. There's one done back in 18 whatever it was, and it's got the sun, but then you've got another round disc in the sky, and it depicts a person and a dog looking up with something else. It's a famous painting. So is that an existence of UFO, or are people just making that up? What and if you look at ancient or old texts, some people think that Ezekiel's wheel that's in the Bible is a UFO.
Well, you probably heard the theory of Noah's Ark being a ship, haven't you? Have you ever heard about that? Like it's basically it's like the story we're told. It's like animals, like, and how would you really? And is it a sort of a fairy tale, a kid tale, or is it actually truth to it? But getting every type of animal because a flood is going to happen and how would you logically put all of those animals in like an ark without that? And also, if you only get in two of each animal, I mean, I guess there's more to the story. They're probably abbreviating a bit, but if a lion eats like a gazelle or whatever, then what do they bring some extra on there for the lions to eat for the food source? But the theory is like they actually just took the DNA of the animals, like they took the DNA, they put it into and the ark is like a big ship. And obviously, that's how they recreated instead of like them. Because also, if you did have two animals, not all animals mate. Like, some animals mate for life. So, you'd have the correct breeding pair to create life after that. Some animals just might not see eye to eye. Just because they're the same breed doesn't mean you're going to get them to, reproduce. So it's just there's that theory that it could be, just taking the DNA and it's on a ship and recreating life from there. But it's definitely, I guess, an interesting way of looking at how that story. Because even I guess Jesus, like they say, he was born by God and stuff, but there's those stories as well. Obviously, when it comes to extraterrestrial, how they had breeding programs and stuff like that. So. Because there is a lot of old Christian artwork that you look into it, it does have like ships or craft in the actual old artwork. So yeah, and I guess even like a lot of them, they're saying they followed the sky and they followed stars and stuff like that. I mean, could there be more to even those stories where they're being guided by some sort of craft instead of just stars?
Mm-hmm.
Any mate tonight on the racing there, Mrs. Rolfus? I just noticed that she says come back from the racing and that.
You're absolutely right, G, because I was nodding because what you're talking about is stuff I've seen in documentaries and things like that.
When they have they go into all sorts of stuff and they go into the religious stuff.
Mm.
Are you eating mint ice cream?
Yes, I am. Which is actually one of the favourite of a certain vlogger. That's his favourite too. Yeah. I've done this before on screen. Yeah.
Well, you normally get told off though, don't you? Or get. Oh, now I wish I had bloody some. Just let people be people, We have to all eat, drink, and the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever? I was going to ask. I haven't really seen Ancient Apocalypse. I need to get into that. So I guess that's
Yeah.
it's almost like I have homework to do sometimes. It's like
Mm-hmm.
add that to the list. Bit of homework. Did you ever watch Ancient Aliens though?
I have seen some episodes, and yeah, it's one of those things that I've always wanted to watch it, but I've never been able to sort of catch it.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, I've only seen it sometimes, but some people criticise it like they're really going too far out, making things up, and at the end of the day, there's only a certain amount of stuff that we can verify. The rest of it, we can only just go by, legends or tales or stories or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that gets talked about, we could be totally wrong. We just don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've ever heard of, he's a rapper, but he does cooking, like he's a chef as well. Action Bronson on YouTube. He has a show called Fuck That's Delicious, which is really good. But him and his friends, and sometimes he would have guests on. Sometimes it was guests that like had a lot of knowledge in areas. But for a while he was doing a show, and it was like they was watching Ancient Aliens, but they smoked a lot of weed and shit, and they sat there, and then he ends up ordering food. So then all of a sudden, like, they get all this different food coming in, and they just sit there and they all smoke, and they watch Ancient Aliens, and they're like, hell, get into it. It's bloody awesome though, like just seeing like they're all off their face, and they're all like, discussing it. Because I used to watch Ancient Aliens sometimes with a friend that I used to have. We used to have like a few beers or a few drinks, and we used to just sit there and get into it. So it's one of those. It's definitely, but it makes you laugh a bit, the show, because a lot of TV shows. They build up to the advert, so they obviously kind of almost do a bit of a cliffhanger or a question,
Yep.
and then that comes on to keep you watching, and then they get back into it. But a lot of times they used to always say, "Oh, do you think maybe it was a chance that it was extraterrestrial?" Like they always sort of ask that question after they would explain stuff, and you've probably seen. You watched a few of them, and you might have even seen memes and stuff. But they had that dude with really crazy big hair. And they had that gif and the memes of him saying aliens.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
like
That's
goes around a lot.
That's Georgios Tsoukalos. He's when the funny thing is about what most people don't realise, a show like Ancient Aliens, it's there to entertain people. It's an entertainment show.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm sure that some of their information is probably not correct, but it gets people interested.
They have that guy. Is it Eric Von something? He done like Chariots of the Gods and stuff.
Yeah, Eric Von Daniken. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Eric Von Daniken. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on it sometimes, and they do have some, some people that either wrote books or they have knowledge in that area or whatever. I guess, before we move on, cars, Roger, not horses.
That's seeing what Mrs. Walter said. Cars, Roger, because did she win any money? And that's what all reminds me of my Robert Flophoff's twin sister, my half sister. Because Robert Flophoff got a twin sister, and she was a bit of a tomboy too when she was growing up. I feel myself not identical in a lot of ways there.
That's fair enough.
I think the ancient alien guys are actually doing a live stage tour too, and I don't know if they brought the show out to Australia or not, but look, and there's a lot of things here on YouTube. They're done for entertainment purposes, but one thing, when you start looking into some of those people, some of the presenters, like Giorgio Tsoukalos, I saw him do a talk for one of the big conferences over there in North America, and he's actually a smart guy. He's well read. He's read a lot of books. You know, so sometimes you've got to divide yourself away from the TV show. The TV show is done in a certain way to address a particular audience, and when you see someone like him doing some UFO conferences, and when you start talking on a certain level, you find out that they've really done their research. Like any TV show, they shoot SHOOT, shoot, bang bang. They shoot X amount of footage, and half of that, if not 3/4 of it, ends up on the ground. And one of the guys I watch, the guy Preston Dennett, he said he made a comment recently. He was hang on, this is going to teleport away. There we go. Do you like the teleportation?
Technology. Definitely look very realistic. Probably
Yeah. Nothing but the best around here. All high tech around here. Trust me. The guy Preston Dennett, he said, I did something for Ancient Aliens just recently, and what they do is they'll get you in front of a camera. So you'll be in front of the camera for an hour or whatever it is, and they'll ask you a question, and then the producer or whatever it is and say, well, can you do it again, but say it this way or say it that way? And, and then it comes into the editor's room, and, they're looking for that gotcha question or that way it was framed that, oh yes, well, it could be aliens, that's what they're looking for.
Cow. But they definitely, because as well, say they have kind of one topic. After a while, I didn't enjoy it as much because it seemed like they were sort of running out of content a little bit. But they do have like an episode on Greys and Bigfoots, and I believe they even had one on dinosaurs and stuff like that. So they had quite cool, like where it's kind of the episode was based around like a topic, and then they went into architecture or history and stuff like that. But
I think they're up to 16 seasons or something like that on Ancient Aliens.
Still bloody going. I thought it stopped. You did say that guy did stuff recently, and the way they edit the episode as well. Like someone will be talking, and then I'll kind of like maybe show a bit of footage of, or you'll have like a narrator talking about stuff, where they'll kind of like show you, and then it'll come back. Like they chop and change it. They don't just stick to one person, and they'll so they're definitely trying to take the best bit,
Yeah. Just have a look at The Curse of Oak Island, how long it's been going. I'm sure I could go and watch an episode now, and they're still at the same hole. If not, they
19 seasons. 19 seasons.
What is that? Ancient Aliens.
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
For some people, I think shows like that, in some respects, are a good way to get people interested. And if they want to go further, well, they're going to go and watch something else or research or read a book, you know. So it's
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with those shows because I know what I'm looking at in terms of I don't know everything. I just know that it's done in a certain way. It's produced in a certain way for a certain audience, right? And so if you can go and watch that show and take something away from it, you know, or if that leads you down a certain path, then well and good. It's probably done its job, you know.
Yeah, because I didn't really like David Wilcock that much on the show, but I started getting into his content a bit on YouTube. And it just seemed like after a while, there was a lot of information that he said that he was getting from different people, and then like a lot of it never came to fruition in a way. You know, it never, you know, and that's some of this is probably why I did step away from a lot of it for so long, because it just gets to the point where everyone claims to have answers and, you know, evidence and, oh, this is going to happen and like disclosure and this is going to happen. We have dates and it's definitely like, I find it's a way for them. Obviously, they have to pay the bills, but they do have like a lot of promise. I guess kind of like politicians in a way. You know, they have all these promises or all these claims and evidence or whatever's going to happen, and it's like a lot of time it never just goes anywhere. So, you know, they it's like they always want you to keep and watching, but don't always give you the answers you're looking for in a way. And just there's a few people that I've got into, and it seemed a bit like that. But when I got into Stranger Things, the series, that was based on Montauk Project, and when I was researching and looking into that, I came across Stuart Swerdlow, and he was claiming that he was one of the like involved in that project, and you know he had a lot of information on it. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. Got into it, started following him, and he gets into kind of like politics or other stuff in life. Like, you know, he says he's a part of this program, this, and this, and they obviously do have some books and some different products or whatever that to sell, and you do need to sell stuff if you want to make a living off it. Good night, Mr. Rolfus.
Yeah,
You know, they
Rolfus.
obviously, you know, they obviously do need to make a living, especially if they're spending a lot of time researching and, you know, trying to live that life. But then after a while, it's like you start questioning: are they doing this, as I say, like claiming to have education or evidence or being a part of programs, but were they really, or are they just kind of, you know, helping to sell their books and stuff like that? So it just gets to the point where, you know, like, because Stephen Greer as well, you probably know him, right? Was it Richard Greer or no, Stephen?
No,
But yeah,
Stephen Greer,
yeah, so he had he's done obviously a lot of documentaries. Again, he does like I've enjoyed or listened to some of his speeches, how he would, you know, people pay to go see him and stuff like that. But even after a while, even him and, you know, it's just they have all these stories and yeah, they definitely research and know a lot of stuff. But it definitely does get to the point where, you know, like you see a few inconsistencies or a few things that you're like, oh, that's a bit far fetched or whatever, and it just sort of puts you off a bit. So I don't know if you find that or, you know, that happens to you.
That David Wilcox guy, I've watched some of his stuff. I've never really gotten right into him. I've never, him and another guy, it's actually come out, well, as far as I know, that they're definitely not telling the truth. Yeah, you know, there's guys out there.
Yeah.
Dr. Stephen Greer, I think when he first started doing his stuff, and this is what a lot of people say, because I've watched some of his stuff. I haven't watched all of his stuff. When he first started doing it, he was really good. But now it seems like he's got to do something outlandish or something else to stay relevant, so to speak. But I think with all of these people, I think you just got to watch them and make. And there's a bunch of them out there doing it. You just got to watch them, make up your own mind, and if you get something out of it, then well and good. If you don't get anything out of it, then maybe move on and find someone else. And however, there's a few people that I do watch, like this guy Preston Dennett. He's really good. He's written like 30 books. He puts out an hour-long thing on YouTube, once a week, every Saturday, about UFO cases that he's looked into. And he is just one of those guys that it hasn't really gone to his head, sort of thing, And he started out. He's talked about his story. He started out skeptical. He didn't believe in UFOs, but then he had an encounter, and it just snowballed from there. So there's people like him that I really admire and look into or look up to, because he hasn't changed. He's just doing the same thing over and over, and it's all the cases that he brings forward that either other researchers don't have the time to do or just haven't found. And when you look at the stuff he talks about, it's from all around the world, from all different time zones and things like that. It's just phenomenal. There's no way that all the different cases he has presented, I don't believe they're fake in any way. And he really does his research. He just doesn't take one person's story on face value. He will talk to them, and then he'll do some research, and then he'll go back and talk to them again and see, and see if their story changes. And then, he'll look for news clippings and things like that, and then he talks to them about 3 times before he makes his mind up that, okay, this person's really telling the truth. So that's what I like about him, and they're the sort of people I tend to gravitate to. Especially when it comes to the UFO situation.
Yeah, because quickly going back to David Wilcock, you were saying, like this guy's a lot more grounded, and it seems like Wilcock these days, well, I haven't, probably for a couple of years, I haven't really kept up to date or followed him, but he seems like he tries to be a little bit more of a rock star these days, like, because I've got a bit of money these days, or, I guess he's one of the main, he's probably still hosting Ancient Aliens, so he gets paid for that. He does his own lectures, he does this, that, and the other YouTube. And I've just was following him on Instagram and just seeing him, living that rock star life where it just seemed like he's not my kind of person really in a way.
Yeah.
Just it seemed like it was almost going to his head a bit.
Yeah. And that's, I suppose that's what happens with some of these people is that I suppose they either get bored with themselves or they get the impression that people are getting bored with them, so they try and reinvent themselves or come out with more outlandish stories or things like that. As it's been described by various people, if somebody says they've got all the answers, run the other direction, because no one's got all the answers. I think you have to look at a broad spectrum of people to get an overall picture. Hang on.
Yeah. Sounds like the naked aliens got him.
Yeah, they have. They've taken me away. They're pointing a probe at me, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
Let's take it a Sirius Star System.
Hopefully they might get those Klingons around Uranus.
Yeah. Used to call them dangleberries back in the day.
Yeah.
They called them back in the 80s, 90s too.
So
Remember
as
that.
I've said before, the people I watch are people like Preston Dennett. I watch, I'd like to watch Spaced Out Radio, and
Yeah, they seem like a cool bunch.
yeah, the presenter of Spaced Out Radio has stated that his show is there for entertainment. However, he's got his finger on the pulse. He's well read. He's a bit opinionated, but I think he shows a pretty good balance of things, and he covers a lot of topics. UFOs, cryptids, ghosts, paranormal. So it's to me, it's a good balanced show.
Yeah, that changes it up a bit, and
And there's another guy I watch. Well, I watch quite a few actually. Michael Schratt. He has a YouTube channel called Blue Room Media. Now, he started posting videos, but he hasn't done many of late, which is a bit disappointing. But he's a really good researcher. He's straight down the line. And he was bringing forward some old UFO cases from Leonard Stringfield, who has passed away a long time ago. And he was getting a guy to illustrate some of the past cases, so it gave you more of a picture on what was happening instead of just reading something from a file. And they're sort of the main ones. I do watch others from time to time, but like I said, the Y-Files, I'm really getting into his content. It's just, I just like the way he presents his stuff.
yeah, I'll definitely have to give that channel a go. And when we spoke about it last time, and I flicked through, there's definitely a lot of stuff that definitely piques my interest. And
but we're all, but
just-
that's just what I'm interested in, and that's going to change. It has changed over time. I also watch some channels just purely for information, and actually from doing that, I've picked up a few things and gone, oh, okay, oh, right, so that, oh, right, that sort of thing is, and there's also the books that people put out, and that's been a bit contentious over the years too. Some people are out there just making money or doing the UFO circuit, so to speak, to make money, and I don't have a problem in that, because people have got to make a living somehow, and there's regardless of what circles you follow or rotate in or whatever, there's people out there doing the same sort of things. There's people who so where's an example? Like, there's people who just go on things that do treasure hunts. How people have hidden treasure over the years. There's people who do that. That's another big thing that people do on YouTube. People there's puzzles out there that people try and solve, because an anonymous user puts something online and go here and go to this website and all this sort of stuff. You know, or there's people who just go and do lectures on stuff and they get paid to do the lecture and then they move on to something else. You know, it's just there's no difference. Well, look at the art world. You know, there's people doing phony stuff in the art world. You know.
Yeah, I guess it's like kind of like, you know, every interest, hobby, or whatever you want to call them. And if they're not always hobby, obviously, if someone's making a career or a job out of it, then you're always going to get kind of like the fakes or the people that are just in it for the money and will be willing to, you know, bullshit or whatever just to get that money or just to, you know, get themselves their name out there just so they can. And then you'll get the genuine people. So yeah,
They always got to be.
Yeah, go on, Roger.
They always got to be fakes. There always will be. You know.
Yeah.
There's the ones that obviously even you two can obviously tell all that's fake to ones that nearly look like the real thing. You know.
Well,
Can't tell much of a difference in that. You can get from movies even. Yeah.
I was just going to say I'm no expert, Roger. I just know. Well, I don't know exactly. I only talk about what I can know or what I can prove or say. Look, I got interesting information out of this. If you want to go and have a look at it, this is go have a look at it yourself. Make your own mind up. And at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. If you like something, you know, you can be like your martial arts. That's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, if that's why if I talk about it, I'll ask a question and I'll say, you know, I'll ask you, is that right? Have I got that right? Or you know, you need to, you know, martial arts. Yeah, I find it interesting. Do I go and do it? No, I don't. You know, that's nothing against you or the martial art. That's just me. Just me.
You made a choice not to do it. Yeah. This is all about life's all about choices.
Yeah.
That's all about. I asked Mum for about over a week to sign me up. I was about 8 years old and got signed on. I was about 8 for karate and 13 for Muay Thai and BJJ, and been doing it ever since. You know.
And that's great. If that's what you like and that's what you enjoy, that's great. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying if I went and did it, I wouldn't enjoy it, but it's just something I've never done.
Yeah,
you know?
You got other interests to pursue in that. Yeah, life's all about choices. And that,
I've been one thing I used to do, which I haven't done for a long time, is 10-pin bowling. I used to enjoy that, and I've seen people get involved and this I really want to do this, and they come about half a dozen, maybe a dozen times, and then you never see them again. You know, it happens in every. I'm sure it happens in every group, every volunteer organisation, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it always does.
So what do you have to chat about there, Roger?
I was talking to my brother, that's all. He says he's got to be tight in there. Yeah, he says he needs to go, but I was talking to him and both my sisters all night, that's all. That's when I'm doing and stuff tomorrow and stuff. Yeah, that's actually what I'm doing, and I just sort out my plans for tomorrow with them.
I don't think we ever heard the story of. I know that you said that you used like a video game character as your picture, but where did the Roger the Pirate name come from? Did you say that it was a game that you played?
I used to play called Wrestle Unstoppable. You can make a character, male or female. You can put a fake name if you want and any way you want. I decided to make it so I can have a unique picture for my profile, like for the YouTube and that. And I thought, I gave it to Rob to help me put it on my YouTube picture and that, because he knows more about it than I do. Putting that, and he went to work on it and did it, and he says, "What do you think?" He says, "Pretty good." I put it on my your little picture, a bit like you do with the creature looking thing for your Funkin' Hungry there. Yeah, so I put it there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, Mark.
I don't know if your dog farted. Reminds me of Pink's song. You can make a parody of Doggy farted, and the parody song of Party Started by Pink. I had a parody song once. Yeah, it says, party started. No. Pink says, "Get this party started." There's a parody of a song that says, "I bet didn't know Doggy farted." Because I remember seeing it years ago, about 15, 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, right.
Because
so you don't actually have any. You don't have any actual interest in pirates, or?
I do actually. I got interest in pirates since little Roger Burgess, and I sort of got interest in pirates, but haven't researched much in my early years after I left school because I was working, and I sort of got back into trying to research as much things about pirates as I can in recent times, like after I got a new job.
So what do you enjoy about it? Just that you sort of, just the boats and the swords and
just the people and stuff in general, and how they come about being pirates and privateers, which is the authorized by the government to be pirates. That's privateers. That's going on looting for the government or the crown, like king or queen or anything. That's what privateers are. Pirates are the ones out for themselves. They go raid anyone, pirates, and they do it for themselves.
Yeah, like you've still got pirates now, like ones that try to rob people for.
Yeah.
But I'd say like older pirates kind of had a little bit more of a code or a way of life, a little bit more. Like the more modern ones.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily have an organization like pirates used to.
Yeah,
they're just kind of in it for themselves
to
get what they can.
Yeah, because go back from shooting each other with cannons and swords. Now they've got semi-automatic freaking weapons and automatic weapons at each other and stuff these days.
Yeah, I guess so. There's not much honor when it comes to the weapons we have these days. Like you said, like automatic guns or whatever. It's not like it's like walk the plank and swords and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it was definitely cool having cannons on ships and stuff like they used to. All that gunpowder and all that.
Yeah, because they used to put one thing in one ear one of those days when they used to pull the cannons because it'd go boom. And that's why it
was.
Yeah, go boom because they used to pull these strings and that on cannons and that. They used to put one thing in one ear. That's why a lot of Navy personnel back in those 15th, 16th centuries and that used to be partially deaf because of these one ear were exposed to the
how loud it was and how close you are to it.
Yeah, and nowadays all you see all the naval personnel that stay far away. About here, Marshall stay a fair way away from these 6-inch, 9-inch gunnery on the ships these days. A lot more safer these days,
Yeah, that's
Sorry if I know a bit about the Navy because my stepdad was in the Navy. That's why I know a bit about
no, that's
ships and
fine.
stuff.
Yeah,
And his brother used to be in the army. That's all.
you know, I'm
He used to be a trained.
happy to hear. I'm happy to hear anything really. You know, any interest or
Yeah.
information you have to share or want to talk about.
And his brother used to be in the army. He used to be a trained sniper, like in the rifleman and that.
Yeah. When it comes to sniping, they would have to have a lot of patience, and stuff like wind resistance comes into play, and
Yeah,
they're shooting a long distance.
yeah, and they have to.
Pretty-
They get trained to. They get trained how to gun and how to spot targets through scopes and stuff. And they have to go patience and they have to put on the right shoulder and everything because all the bullets go to the right hand side
Yeah,
like that. So then the power goes because you put on the left shoulder and bullets come through, they won't burn your face, you know.
yeah, and also there's a fair bit of recoil, so when they take a shot and they
Yeah,
if
they
they
kick
miss
back,
that
yeah.
target, if they miss that target and the target stay moving, that then it takes a lot of skill obviously as well to take a second shot on a moving target, or after having that recoil of the gun and
Yeah.
being able to sort of like just take the next shot.
And all guns have kickback too. That's why when you have handguns, you got to put it fair away. If you put it here, boom, break your nose, you know. You further have it a little bit out. Yeah, because all guns have kickback. Even handguns have a little bit of kickback, you know.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of rifles have these paddings called kick pads on the butt of the gun so they wouldn't break your shoulder too much when you go boom and that.
I've fired a few guns, but haven't really, I can't say I've done much, but some of the modern handguns are quite nice and smooth to use, and then you've got like the more Magnum revolver types that had a lot of kickback to it.
That's why a lot of hunters sometimes use kick pads on the butt of the rifles. They have it, there's a little concussion to impact on your shoulder, you know. You still get a kickback on your shoulder, but not as much if you use these kick pads on the back end of the rifles and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have scopes up for hunting anything, you have to put the eye rod on it, so you can just adjust anything and then boom, yeah.
Yeah, even looking through binoculars or scopes and stuff like that, you do sort of even have to train yourself a bit to do that because it feels a little bit weird until you get used to it.
Yeah, but with modern scopes, you can just, even like you do, when you first use it, you just go, even you can.
Yeah.
All I have to do is know how to go boom, yeah, at the end of it. But even like you can deal with modern scopes all right.
Mm.
Because you have to put the eye rod on it and go, does it dip? You know, I sort of know a bit about guns myself because I've been around military people, like military family members.
And
I tend to pick up what they say and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know how to. Me and my brother Robert Fife knew how to handgun since we were kids because we used to go in a lot of sometimes rifle clubs as well. Yeah, you used to go and boom.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
Another gun enthusiast that just know how to handle guns and how to pick up guns and handguns and that.
Not quite like our American brother and sisters. Some of them are a bit obsessed with guns.
I know. But the only thing in the US, the only people who can't handle guns is people with a criminal record. Who cannot, and no federal one can give them to people with a criminal record. That's why they got to write their names down so they can give them a background check before they issue a license. They come up a criminal record and they cannot issue a gun license to them. Because you don't want to think mass murder or have a thing gun around to do it all again, you know.
Well, don't they sell guns in like Walmart and stuff as well?
Yeah, but they usually ask to do, but they usually ask for a gun license. Like if you're a citizen of the US, they do to sell on Walmart and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much open secret. You can say it's pretty much open.
So you can pick up some apples, some underwear, and a gun if you need. You know,
Yeah, I got a rifle, man, with some apples. I have to stick with a store during the meantime.
That's it. Have everything that you need in one spot.
Yeah. Make sure you don't stick up the sword in the meantime. Come here. Come here, Manny.
Yeah, some people have the license for open handguns or whatever. What do they call it? Like where it's on your, where you can legally carry one around.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've spoke to people in my life, and they just cruise around with it on their holster or whatever.
Yeah. I know most about guns by talking to my family members who've been in the military. That's how I got familiar with guns and stuff. And I'm thinking, what do I, and they cannot own any semi-automatic or automatic weaponry either, because some of the weaponry belongs to the armed forces as well. Some of the semi-automatic and automatic weaponry in that.
How's the dog bark? Is all farted? It's got rid of all the farts.
I don't know. I was just sitting here before and smelled that wonderful odor, and you think, oh God, come on, let's. She'll probably wake us up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, want to go out, and dogs will be barking about something, and
it'd be big couple of drunken yobos or something going around. Yeah.
Oh, we get that all the time. It doesn't matter what time of the day or night it is.
What, drunken yobos?
Yeah, we get people pass here and go, F and C and whatever else. And, it's a bit lively around here.
Yeah, and they'd probably pass out of bed about 4 in the morning. You wake up a couple of hours later, wondering how they got to bed.
Yeah. Oh boy. So anyway.
So when he said, "Oh boy," I don't think him going back as a kid. So he says, "Oh boy," it's a chick with down my shirt and that. I was a little kid. Yeah, oh boy.
Well, you was doing the old Dutch oven.
No, that's gone back over 30 years when I was a little boy. I'm now 43.
Last time you done Dutch oven.
No. I'm thinking 1990s. I go back there in an instant.
So what's on the agenda tomorrow, guys?
Oh, no, that's...
I was meant to film some videos today so I can edit tomorrow and bloody put out a video on Monday or whatever, but because I had a bit of a headache and stuff when I woke up, and I'm just not really in the mood. Sometimes you need to be in that mood to be like, oh, hello, how are you? Act a plonker. all that stuff. So yeah, maybe I'll either film or start stuff tomorrow. But I don't know. As I said, I've got a lot of homework to catch up on, a lot of stuff to listen and
Yeah.
watch and stuff. So I might just set up my painting area and catch up on some painting. You know, like the painting obviously helps me to put my name out of it when it comes to miniature painting. Like, you know, paint it, take pictures, share it in communities. I run different Facebook Discords for my miniature painting, all that stuff. I do monthly challenges that I haven't necessarily been a part of myself, but I try and encourage everyone else in the community to. We normally pick a subject, or I let the community pick. I give them a list, and they pick which one they want to do monthly and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just me juggling, I guess, like food, funk and hungry stuff, and then my hobby stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like I have sort of gathered some stuff that I need to dust off because it's got a little bit hairy, but I kind of have all this stuff sitting here. A lot of it is painted already. Some of the stuff I'm gonna put away because it's like stuff that I painted ages ago. But like this big guy doesn't have any arms. He might look scary, but he's a little bit armless at the moment. But yeah, I need to finish him, put his arms on, and finish painting him. But they'll give me a bit of an excuse to catch up on some of these channels you've told me about and stuff like that.
Are they a kit that you put together, or is it 3D printed? What's the method, G?
You can get 3D these days. A lot of people are moving into 3D printing because they buy the printer, buy the resin. You can buy the STL files or all that sort of stuff. This guy is a resin model. Funny enough, Roger will like him. He's an orc, but he's a pirate orc. Yeah, that's a bust.
What's that?
That's a bust.
What's that?
Kind of a miniature.
Sorry.
But yeah, like a lot, you can get resin ones that come in bits that you need to use super glue to build. Wherever I've chucked. So yeah, basically they come in. This one's a little is laying around just a little bit, but they come in boxes. Then you get sprues and instructions inside them. I guess you guys have probably come across, you know, when the old model trains and planes and stuff you used to get as like when you were younger.
Yeah.
Bloody hair and stuff. But yeah, then you get a sprue that has little bits on it. So you build the model, you clip them off. That's funny enough what my clippers are for.
Yeah.
You clip them off. You normally use a hobby knife to get rid of mold. They have mold lines on it where the two normally sort of like say an arm. You put the two pieces together and it normally has a mold line where the two molds meet. Sometimes they have that you have to clean off. Then I use plastic cement, which is like a plastic glue that melts the pieces together. So if I put a face or an arm on, use plastic glue. So then when you hold it in place, it kind of almost more of a weld in, or it gives it more of a. See, some stuff needs super glue because you can't use plastic cement and resin and metal, but yeah, you put them together. And some people play the tabletop games. A lot of this stuff has games or whatever involved.
Just looking on YouTube, and some people are really, it's like serious sort of stuff, Have you
one of the main companies, Games Workshop and Warhammer, is like what a lot of this stuff is, but I do have stuff from other companies.
Have you watched Warhammer 40,000 full movie?
I'm not. I have seen stuff, possibly or probably not that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be, like a lot of there is some fan-made stuff, but Games Workshop or the Warhammer company, they started cracking down because they made their own streaming service, Warhammer Plus.
Well, this one I just mentioned is from Game Clips, and it's a 39-minute thing on YouTube here. I just typed in Warhammer, and there's Warhammer, the official YouTube page, and then that's the next one down. So I just,
Okay, yeah,
like I said,
yeah. Some
I've
people
heard
did.
it. I've heard of it
Yeah.
through Supernova and things like that. In fact, Supernova Adelaide is going on right now. Today, today and tomorrow, and then
Yeah,
next
nice.
weekend they're up here in Brisbane. So we're going on the Saturday, and
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we're going to see. We'll come across some Warhammer things.
Yeah, though, I reckon because they do have conventions for Warhammer. One of the biggest one is it's more of a painting competition, but they do have Warhammer World where you go there. You can either buy Warhammer. They have tables for the tabletop, but they kind of have these huge displays of all the miniatures, but they're having like huge battles where you have like one army versus the other. So it's kind of like I guess what art museums do when they put certain stuff together. You have Warhammer Con or whatever they call it. It's like a convention, and then they have other ones that aren't ran by Warhammer, but they'll. One of the big competitions is Golden Demon. This has been going since I was a kid, and you basically some of the best painters in the world put. They have different categories like dioramas or 1 vs 1 or all this stuff. And yeah, people win awards, people win trophies and swords and stuff. Because Games Workshop, the company that does Warhammer, also do miniatures and a tabletop game and miniatures for, they call it Middle Earth, but it's Lord of the Rings. So they have the rights to make miniatures for the Tolkien estate. And yeah, they have a tabletop game for Lord of the Rings. So obviously that made them even more popular. They have their own, 40K is the sci-fi version. Age of Sigma or Warhammer Fantasy is like a fantasy setting, and then they even have their American football version called Blood Bowl, where it's like two teams. You roll dice and stuff, and you play two teams on like a rugby sort of football pitch. They definitely have a lot. I'm more into the painting. There is a lot of people that always try to get me to go to tournaments and stuff, but because I don't play the tabletop game enough, I'm not really confident with. I have played my brother a few times, and like it's a little bit more laid back when we do it. Like we can take our time and all that stuff. He's more. My brother's more into the gaming side because he hangs around with like a lot of people in the community that he has games with. But me doing, I guess, like Funk and Hungry as well as Warhammer and stuff like that, or miniature painting, I don't always have the time to just. A lot of people do sort of rush their armies. I take pride in painting. I like really enjoy it. So I never have an army ready to, because I'm too busy taking weeks or more of just like a little miniature.
Is
But yeah, it's
with the
def-
colours, is there a set amount of colours that you use, or can you just use your own? I mean, could you do a miniature in, say, pastels or something like that?
oh well, yeah, you need really acrylic paints. Oil paints are starting to become like a little bit more popular in the hobby now, but oil paints they more paint up a model and they use it for sort of more weathering and stuff, like to make stuff look old and dirty. And you normally need to put a varnish on it, and then you put the oil paints, and then you use like a methylated spirit type, product to sort of brush it off some of the flat areas. But yeah, I'm pretty pedantic and stuff about it. Pretty, like the more I do it and the better I get at painting, I'm kind of like I'd use the gloves if I'm really taking it seriously, because the oils in your fingers can like pull off some of the paint as you're painting. So I have like this box of what are they? They're like a latex type glove. I guess like what bloody tattoo artists use and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I got interested in it as a kid. We went to a family friend's house, and his dad and one of his sons, they must have bought like a big box where you get two armies and they split it up. And we never saw really the father painting or doing his stuff, but he had his army set out in his like hobby room or whatever it was. And yeah, my older brother started getting into it. He doesn't do it now. They had some games, and I just remember I fell in love with these orcs, which are a little bit like World of Warcraft orcs, where they're all green and really muscly, not like Lord of the Rings orcs that are a little bit more humanoid. But yeah, when I just saw them, I loved them, and I guess the short story was I didn't want to have the same army as him, so I ended up doing different armies, but I didn't have the connection until I eventually collected my own orcs. My first army was, or my first miniatures I collected. I used to jump around when I was a kid because I see stuff and think that's cool and save my pocket money and buy it. But the first proper army I got into was lizard men, they call them, which have like a kind of Aztec sort of aesthetic, but they are lizards, so they call him the Slan Mage Priest, which is the magician or the mage, but he's like a big frog that looks like Buddha, basically. And then they have different lizards and different dinosaurs in the team. And being a kid at the time, it's like most kids love dinosaurs, so why not get some dinosaurs to build and paint?
So
yeah, even though it's a yeah.
I was just going to ask, is Warhammer, is that Dungeons and Dragons reinvented, or?
Oh, they did kind of these days. It's kind of like big armies versus each other and stuff. So it has evolved over time. But Warhammer Fantasy, which was like what it first came about, they had the company. It's a little bit weird because Games Workshop's the company. Warhammer is a term that's being used more to explain the whole topic or the whole hobby. But Citadel, they used to do Citadel miniatures, and they used to originally started to make some Dungeons and Dragons miniatures for people to play with. But then over time, it kind of become its own, like, it's probably just as popular, maybe even possibly more popular now than Dungeons and Dragons. But Dungeons and Dragons is pretty popular, but yeah, it very much was like that, where it was role playing more when it first started, and then it's just sort of over time has just developed into, because they have video games of Warhammer, and they've even got into comics. They have novels, but even Marvel Comics now does some Warhammer comics. So it's obviously getting more popular and just changing over time, but. Yeah, Marvel's done a couple of different runs over a couple of different stories, which I haven't actually read. But yeah, you know that it's getting popular. And Henry Cavill, that played Superman and stuff, he's into Warhammer, and because he doesn't do The Witcher now, he doesn't do Superman. From what they say, he's going to eventually do a Prime series of Warhammer, and he's kind of like the name behind it. But also, he wants to, like he's going to be like, I guess, the face of that. Like, he's I guess in charge somewhat of the project. So he said this a while ago, but I guess it takes time to do stuff. So eventually, though, we might be seeing proper live action Warhammer on Prime. Because Henry Cavill is a huge nerd.
There's a few people out there like that. A few of the TV stars, like Todd Shadwick, I think that's his name. He was one of the captains in Star Trek Picard, and if you follow him on Instagram or wherever he does, he's right into the role playing, rolling dice or die. I'm not sure exactly what it is he plays, but he definitely does something. He knows he's, seems like an interesting character.
Yeah, a lot of people are into D&D. I know Kevin Smith, the director who done Clerks, there's Vin Diesel. No, I forget his name, but the person who married that, Eva Longoria's or whatever her name is, he's huge into D&D and he has his own like area because I guess he's got money. He's got this huge table and area with all these D&D props around, and I mean, back many years ago, a lot of people would be dissed for this stuff, or that people would look at a nerd as a certain way, like a person who looks and speaks and stuff a certain way have a bit of a stereotype. But these days nerds like Henry Cavill or someone like a huge dude, muscly, and just bash you if you wanted to try to fight him. But, I know he's into Warcraft. He did The Witcher. I'm not sure if you've seen that series, but I know that he likes the video games and the books of that before he became The Witcher. So that's one reason supposedly he doesn't do it anymore, is because they started to try to go away from the law and how it should be. So that's why he stepped away, because he didn't want to do it anymore if they wasn't keeping faithful to the story.
Well, if you look at if you follow Adam Savage, and most of people know Adam Savage from Mythbusters, but he runs his own channel now, and he does a lot of one-day builds on different things, and but he's really into spacesuits. Like he has a lot of replica spacesuits and things like that, and quite often he'll go to Comic-Con in America there, and so he'll be dressed up in an outfit, and most of the time he's walking through and nobody knows who it is, even though he's got his crew there following him around with a camera. And some people go up to him and say, "Oh, are you Adam Savage?" And you go, "Yes," and then they get a photo and then they move on. It's quite good, but his workshop is just phenomenal. He's got all this stuff just tucked away in corners like you wouldn't believe, and he puts out some really good content. There's some really good content creators out there, and unfortunately, it's almost a case of there's too much there to watch, because you watch it and you get
definitely
you get enthused by it, so you go, "Oh, follow that," and So.
Yeah, because even when it comes to miniature painting, the hobby, there's all the different, because they do like Marvel and Star Wars now. They have tabletop games for them, or just, again, some people might just want to get the miniatures to paint their favorite characters. And then you get channels that are a little bit just more painting whatever. Then you get the Warhammer focused ones that are just, like my one is mainly painting or collecting orcs, what I sort of enjoy. But I have done videos and other stuff as well. You get people that are very Warhammer. You get the people as well that the bigger channels that they kind of do the clickbait, and they kind of just do fun and interesting stuff just to keep it fresh. And then you get the people that do the battle reports, they call them, where they film them having games, and sometimes it's just people with phones, sort of just filming what they do, or some people have these huge setups with cameras and lights, and even some people use like graphics, like effects. Sometimes you'll see like a little bit of a shooting and stuff. So it's crazy what it is now, and there's so much more knowledge out there because people are sharing their stuff for free, or again, that sometimes stuff's locked behind a Patreon. Or some people, they'll give out the free content, but then you can pay for classes to have one-on-one with that painter, or it's just become, I guess, the internet and YouTube especially. A lot of people do Twitch as well. They'll stream them painting or whatever on Twitch. But yeah, it's just like, I guess, most stuff in life, just it's crazy since the internet, but even more so since stuff like YouTube, Facebook. I got out of the hobby when I was about 16, 17 and only got back into it a few years ago.
Yeah.
And one reason I did do the YouTube channel was so I could, if I'm going to spend all this money on miniatures and paint and stuff, then it will kind of give me a little bit of a focus. Like it will sort of keep me doing it instead of just grabbing it and then just like, you know, putting it to the side or whatever. Yeah.
I was going to ask a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I've forgotten about it, so it must have been a lie. I can laugh at my own jokes.
Well, yeah, I got told quite a lot of interesting stuff tonight for sure that I am supposedly.
Yeah. Well, you've made the 3 hour mark, so you're over the 3 hours. You're doing well.
Yeah, I can run off. Oh, bloody! I've done over six minutes. I should have rushed off to TikTok by now.
Yeah, you should
I'd
have.
have told everyone to shut up and not bring up a new topic and quickly run off to TikTok so I can stare at the screen and grunt for a while.
And do your outro and make funny faces.
Yeah.
And I'll say good night, Australia. Or should I say good morning, Australia?
Yeah, because that other channel used to. It's about 10:30, I think it stopped, didn't it?
11 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, 11 o'clock. I should have known that because that was like
Yeah.
that was the pumpkin hour. That was, you know, I better rush off, otherwise they're going to turn from Cinderella into, you know, the chick who does dishes and mops floors. The golden slipper or glass slipper. Sorry.
Maybe that was the golden hour that he did the unsolicited.
Golden hour. Oh, it would have been definitely. That's why that person was so excited to run off. I've got big things to send to people. Gets excited. Yeah, golden hour for the golden showers.
I should sort of put this discrimination because he never sent me one.
Yeah, I think I said that in the group chat the other day. I'm like, you know, I don't know if I should be disappointed. I didn't get one. Maybe if I stuck around a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rush's reaction is good.
I just try to contain my laughter so I can hear more. To see what you and Mark will say.
No, that's fine.
Because I'm trying not to laugh over. Go on. Go, Mark.
Yeah, now you got me laughing. I try not to elaborate too much, but G just lets it roll. And
yeah, supposedly that's why I lose a lot of people. They block me or don't like me anymore.
I try to keep it a little bit more cryptic. You know, it's almost like an inside joke sort of thing. We know what we're talking about, but even after all this time, we're still talking about it. You know.
Yeah, well, I definitely found out some interesting stuff tonight that I can speak a little bit more later on. But yeah, that person got brought up. Yeah. So yeah,
well, maybe you should wrap the show up and we'll talk about it.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I was about to say goodbye, and a few more people joined, but yeah, we'll head off. But if you want to see my ugly mug at a later stage, I'll be streaming on Monday. But yeah, I appreciate Starman and Pirate Life, the mainland prawn star, and I can't even remember. Dexter was on for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, Dexter.
Yeah, my one, yeah.
He on your one, he showed his face. I was going to say, he showed his face as well, but he literally did this time.
Yeah, he came on.
Appreciate everyone.
He did come in here too. He did say hello.
Yeah, said hello a little bit and then left.
Yeah, he is a bit of a young lad, so he probably gets up, he probably burns up all his energy off running around doing crazy little lad stuff that we all do at that age, and
Do what they do these days.
yeah, probably just playing on his bloody tablet or whatever. that's what my nephew does a lot, and then he because I actually did a bit of gaming with my younger brother the other night or the other day. And when his son came back from school, he's like, "Oh, we played for a bit," but he's like, "Oh, I better head off soon because my nephew." He's like, "Oh, he's making out like he's never played a game in his life. Like just how they linger around, like float around, just showing themselves. Well, not showing themselves like the naked vlogger, but just making their presence known, all that stuff." But yeah, all right, I'll wrap this up like a Turkish kebab, and I'll speak to you all later. I'll speak to you all later. Appreciate everyone watching. We'll love you and leave you. And thank you again to Roger and Mark for being here. Catch you in the
Always a
next
pleasure.
one. Bye for now.
Good night, Australia.
Bye.